Yo, this is KaeDee,
And this is David.
and we are the K&D Exchange, where we exchange music, and as a result, we exchange ideas, bridging the gap between old and new, with all original music produced by. Enjoy. Yo, we are back, the K&D Exchange, with our, 13th exchange of the series.
Ooh,
I am,
yeah.
yeah. David is especially excited for this one because we're talking about his favorite artist again, Drake. I mean, he was so over the fucking moon when I gave him another Drake album. He was like, KaeDee, this is too much for me, man. You know, this is too much for me. And I took that all to mean too much for you in a positive way, right? Because you fucking love Drake. So I was like, you know what, man? I'm a good guy. I'll do this, you know? And I can't wait to jump in. 13, unlucky number, but it's cool. We move. And, you know, maybe that sets the tone for this episode. I don't know. Because I'm always interested when we talk about this sort of stuff.
I'm glad one of us is.
Well, it's interesting because it's like, you know, what's like an expression? It's like when you put someone in a in an environment that they would never have personally gone into, and you get to kind of watch and hear their thoughts as they're in this environment. You know, they're in these waters that they never should have been in the first place. That's how I view you when I give you something like Drake or Lowski, although the Lowski one turned out great. But, you know, the Drake one is like, I want to throw you in that pool of sharks and just see how you react. It's fun for me, man, but it's cool. 13th exchange. If you don't know by now, I'm KaeDee, joined by my co-host David. David, what's going on, man?
Yeah, man. Just life out here, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
it's all good, man.
We pay homage to the people that have recently passed on and that, and we remember them. DMX.
Anyway. For sure. RIP DMX. By the time this episode comes out, I think we would have done our stereo talk where we talk about DMX. So we will be doing that. So if you're listening to this on the day of release, tomorrow we will be dropping the episode for that. But yeah, RIP DMX. And yeah, so speaking of stereo, join us every Thursday on the Stereo app. You can join us on there. Drop in your, basically the way it works, it's live. And so you can drop in your voice notes, be part of the conversation. We feed off of what you say and we respond back in real time. And it's really interesting. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, so just get the app, make an account. You can follow us at KaeDee94 and D_A_RENOIR. For me, it's KaeDee94. So just follow us on there. We schedule our talks. We're very organized in this, right? We're very organized. A step above the competition. But also one of us suffers heavy from OCD. So, you know, let's not watch that. But but it, you know, it is what it is. All right. Let's jump in, man. Let's just go in. What are we talking about today?
Man, we're talking about Views by Drake, released in 2016.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
The floor is yours.
Okay. So at the time of recording, I'm going to make an admission, bro. I think that like with DMX, there are two things that I'm going to reference with DMX. Like the first one will come now.
Sure.
And the second one will come later, if I remember. Okay. But the first thing is that like I think that like in my life and stuff, I haven't really let on to people. It's something that's just been on my mind. I was saying to you, like, just off air, just now, you know, it's just really been on my mind. It's just, I don't know. It feels weird. I'm still processing. So I think, you know, I've not really had an avenue by which to sort of express, I don't know, just any kind of emotion towards it. So this podcast, maybe like I might be on a bit more crud than usual. and I think that that's like my way of
That's fine, man.
dealing with it. And so like that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like, so I do think that there's going to be maybe an element of me just sort of like picking on Drake, but also I feel in this way, like in true DMX fashion, just not to be sort of, you know, shy about how I feel. Just let it out, and you know
Sure.
what? Damn the consequences. Because at the end of the day, we're podcasters. Our opinion only really matters to ourselves. So I mean, you
Exactly.
know,
Yeah.
I just want people to be aware that, like, if you find like comfort and joy in Drake's music and stuff like that, by all means, like, do you. Like, it doesn't matter what I say.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just going to go and just be honest.
We're allowed to be critical. You know, it doesn't mean that we're trying to tear down who you like and who you don't like. You know, this is just how we feel about stuff. And I mean, to your point about DMX, what did DMX say about Drake? He said all that in that radio show. It's like, I don't like the way he does this. I don't like the way he talks. I don't like the way he dresses. I don't like his
like his face. So that was going to be my second
like
point. Later
okay.
on. So
okay.
I remember. Well, if we just talk about it now, I actually remember watching that. I think that was an interview in like 2014. That's when I saw it anyway, 2014.
Something like that.
And he's standing up, right?
Yeah, he's not sitting down.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I distinctly remember he was standing up, and they asked him about MGK, and he was him and MGK had just dropped a song, and I remember he was saying like, oh yeah, like, you know, MGK, he's all right, man. He's got some good lyrics. He's a good dude and all that. And then they started asking him about like other rappers. I don't know, like 2 Chainz and whoever else was new.
That's it,
Was it 2 Chainz and there were other guys
some
as
new
well.
artists, like kind of who were a bit newer at the time. And they were asking his opinion on some of them.
And he was like really fair. He was just like, yeah, they're all right. Yeah, they're nice. They're cool. Like whatever. He was really sort of giving him props. But then it was just like, oh, so what do you think about Drake? And he's like, nah, I don't like anything about Drake. And I was like, wow. And I remember hearing that, and that has colored my view since back in the day. Do you know what? I'm gonna after this podcast, I'm gonna dig up that interview. It must be around on YouTube somewhere. But
it's definitely. I saw it the other day. It's
cool.
So funny, man.
I don't like the way he talks.
I don't like the way he walks.
I don't like the way he walks.
I don't like his face. I don't like the way he walks. Don't like the way he talks.
I don't like the way he sounds. I'm like
that gruff voice he has.
Honestly, and you believe him as well. And so that's
he's been genuine.
That's where I think, and you know how we talk about the power of suggestion. So whenever I talk to you, and I've said it on, you know, previous podcasts, you know, when Royce da 5'9", you know, says, you know, who's the greatest rapper alive? Well, then you look at who's dead and who's alive. Then what? Then look at me, Kendrick Lamar and Pusha T, Eminem and the Slaughters. You don't have to go any further for the rhymers. So just by that power of suggestion, I'm like, okay, yeah. Like Royce, it's just the way it's like, then what? Then look at me. And I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. And then now I'm firmly on like the Royce train. You know, I was talking to my brother earlier on. Just a quick aside, you know, Royce, I didn't really pay attention to until Prime, really, because I was like, oh, that rapper's, he sounds pretty decent. He's got a future. And then it was like, it's Royce. I'm like, I'm ashamed.
Of course.
But anyway, bringing it back to DMX, but that is the power of suggestion. And it's kind of stuck with me because DMX, I think, is the alpha male, and Drake is the antithesis of that, in my humble opinion.
Fair enough.
He might have a beard, but
his beard game is pretty strong.
He's got wonderful hairline, wonderful beard game. It's them mixed race genes, man. He's got best of both worlds out there.
Yeah,
man. I mean, no, strong beard game. I
can't knock him for that.
Yeah, man.
Same. Yeah, can't knock him for that, man.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, let's get into it. So views. Okay. Yep. So I did I did listen to this album when it was released, quite soon after. And the first thing that hit me about listening to this whole album again is production wise, he could have released this yesterday. It sounds fresh, man. Like, wow. It sounds really, really, really good. The thing is with Drake, he's got a distinct style. Like, I can't remember his production team, but did any of them work on Blueprint 3? Because there are so many elements that I get on Jay-Z's Blueprint 3 where I'm like, I can't explain it. There's just certain sort of like phrases in the music and certain ways in which, like, say, the background synths are used. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's very airy, like
Very
a
airy, modern,
very clinical.
like, yeah.
And that's what it, it really reminds me of that album.
That's a good
In
shout,
some
actually. Yeah.
in some parts, I think production wise, he borrows a lot from like Jay-Z personally, but I don't know if the production team are the same, or there are a couple of people that are involved in both. I'm not sure.
May have been some work from 40 and them on Blueprint 3, but that was like what, 2010, 2011. So Drizzy was just kind of bubbling up at that point because he was on one of the songs, but he's only like on a hook or something, right?
Yeah, off that,
yeah. And he sounds different on that than he does like how we think of Drake now. So you can tell that's early Drake, right?
Because they use like auto tune on it to give him his like lower register, and then they give him his normal like cadence and that. But like in that chorus that he's on, it tells you everything that you need to know about Drake's personality, I think.
Really?
Yeah, because it's called Off That.
Okay.
It's called Off That, right? And yeah, we off that. Chris, we off that. Tibbs, we off that. And then Jay-Z says, yeah, we on that. If you're still on that, because we're still making money, because we're still on that. That's all Drake is to me. It's the money-making cash cow. Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, cool. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
All right, track number 1, Keeping the Family Close. Didn't like it at all.
Really?
Not at all. Shut the fuck up singing. I'm going to swear a lot in this, by the way. Spoiler alert.
Cool. No worries.
Swear alert. Yeah, shut up. I don't like his singing. I've told you this before. No. And every time he's singing, he sounds like he's whining. I don't like it. Sorry, man. Never going to like it. And the thing is, I am a very, very open human being. The amount of music that I've listened to, like, do you remember, like, when we were working where we were working in Babylon?
Yeah.
You said that one of your mates liked, I think, Mongolian throat music.
Yeah, uni. Yeah. It was so random. He was into like grime and like metal and like hip hop, and then he had this random fourth genre, which was Mongolian throat music. And if you met him and you spoke to him, you would never think he was into that. And he fully sent me a video of it as well. I was like, this. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what? You actually go about and just listen to this?
After that day, I went and I listened to it on YouTube, and I was like, it ain't for me. But the thing is, like, I've listened to so many genres.
You just made me realize how funny that is. Why?
So funny. Oh my God.
Across that. And why is it just something he's really into? It's so weird.
Imagine Mongolian throat music, top of the pops.
Yeah, imagine if that becomes mainstream. That's crazy, right? It's just so random. I forgot all about that. So random. But yeah, he was into that. He was really into it.
Laughter tears. Yeah. But yeah, no, I went ahead and I listened to that, and it ain't for me, but it's for somebody, right? Like, everything ain't for everybody, and that's cool.
For sure. For sure.
I think, who said that? Jill Scott, I think. Everything isn't for everybody. Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, like I found the opening of this album like really quite contrived, and I put, this is tentpole dramatization using gospel keyboards and strings to give scale to a mediocre set of subpar lyrics. I also said that, Dilated People said it best. Worst comes to worst, all my people's coming first. Something short and sharp.
Yeah,
but do you know what I mean? And like, I really love like some of the way that you get a lot of the personality from Dilated Peoples. Like actually, that's best comes to best. My lyrics take care of me. They're therapy. They get shit off my chest. Like,
yeah, sick.
You really get like a sense of they are all about their family. However, like in Drake's, like keeping the family close, like I think the intention is there.
Yeah.
But for me, I think the message gets lost by the fact that it's like 5.5 minutes long of him singing. Oh, maybe. Well, that's what it felt like. Like it wasn't a great open for me. Okay. But
go ahead.
I can understand why people would think it was good. I just think it's really obvious. That's my problem with it. It's really obvious.
I get that. I get you.
9 this. See, now I know with 9, I know he's from the 6. I get that, right? It's an inverse of that. Wow, doesn't take a genius to know it, right? This is how subpar, not subpar. This is how surface Drake is. He even has to say it. 6 upside down, it's a 9 now. I didn't need to know that. Like, you don't need to tell me I'm not an idiot. Maybe it's because maybe maybe he's speaking to a different generation where they need everything sort of like up front, right? They need the thoughts just to be laid out for them. We're in a very much a now situation in our culture, and maybe that's speaking to it. You know, there's no nuance in this whatsoever that I found anyway. You know,
I think that's a good point. Yeah. About the surface level thing, because it's like he is part of like hip hop, right? But he's a rapper, right? And he's one of the biggest hip hop artists there is. Like, he started out as a rapper, right?
Doesn't make it right.
No, it doesn't make it right. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. This is to your point, is that by the time it comes to views, his audience is now so far and diverse. There are a lot of people who listen to Drake who don't listen to hip hop. And so, whereas our ears might be tuned to that kind of thing, because I think I said it in another episode, that I don't know what other genres of music are really heavy on things like wordplay and things like that, as much as hip hop is, at least musical genre. That for us, it's like, you know, it's like we're kind of tuned into that. So I think you're right. He probably knows that there are some like young 14-year-old girls like who don't listen to hip hop and listen to Drake, and they kind of need, like, not to diminish them, not to make them like be like, oh, they're stupid or anything, but you know, some people might not understand what he's trying to do because they're not used to that kind of music. I remember breaking down like some metaphor or punchline for my cousin once, like an Eminem lyric, and she was like, "What? I didn't know like songs, like people did that in songs. Like she didn't know there was any like further meaning to it." And for me, that's like a given, right? I couldn't believe that someone would sit there and say, "What? I didn't know people thought about their songs like that." I was like, "What do you think that artists do? Like, what do you think music is?" I couldn't understand it.
Oh man, yeah, I do recommend that you read some of the lyrics by a singer called Chris Cornell.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
Probably, okay, he's considered like to have one of the best rock voices like of all time. He's one of the best singers that have ever lived, I believe. He's unbelievable. Okay, but his wordplay and stuff. There's a song he does in the band Audio Slave, and it's called "Like a Stone." Okay. Just read it. I think it's really, really nice. And that lays itself out really nicely as poetry, right? And yeah, you're definitely right about hip hop being, you know, I think one of the cornerstones of poetry, right? You know, we do often, you know, we do have a stereo talk coming up soon, which is, you know, is hip hop poetry? Yeah. Short answer, yes. But
yeah, I mean, we think so, but I mean, yeah, obviously. It's weird that we have to contest that, but sometimes we still do, which is strange, right? But yeah, you're right. I think it's people not being tuned into that, right? And it's just Drake, because he's so big. He's like beyond hip hop now. He's got such a wide range of audience.
Yeah, correct. And this sort of plays into the review of what I'm gonna say like throughout as well. Like cool. It's what we spoke about with Eminem as well, and I think there is a direct correlation here. Sure. Okay, so I just said I just picked out a couple of lyrics. So there was a 6 upside down, it's a 9 now, and I was just a bit like meh. And I said that this one sounds like a Blueprint 3 tune. Like it really, really does sonically for me.
Yeah.
There's something about
Jay-Z could have been on this, yeah.
100%. 100%. And then there's another lyric in this song where he says, "I drove it 5 times, paid 1.5 for it." That is what Drake is about, right there. Right there. Right there. Where's the nuance?
Right there.
What the? Like, where's your soul, man? Like, there's more to life than just Bugattis and all of that stuff. Like, you're only talking to a select bunch of people. Like, yes, some people might think it's aspirational. I just take it as braggadocio BS. You're telling me you're flexing. This is an album full of flexing, and it's like, sorry, when I say flexing, like full of
money,
just money flexing. I want rhyming flexing. I want like vocal flexing. I want musical flexing.
Yeah.
I don't get any of that. And this is 2 songs in. So third song, You With Me. It's better, and he should definitely stick to rapping. He's got a really good flow. I really enjoy when he raps. Not necessarily what he's saying, because what he's saying, the lyrics are subpar. Okay. He's not a wordsmith, dude. He's not.
Could be debated.
Oh, come on. No. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. But
I'm not saying I'm debating you on that. I'm you know,
there are tiers to lyrics.
Yeah, there's levels
lyricism.
To
it. Okay. I mean, Drake against novelist.
No, yeah, of course, yeah. Drake against Kendrick.
Drake against anybody of note, though. Drake versus MGK.
Obviously, yeah, I'm picking Drake on that. Wait,
I think MGK could actually take him. I think he could take him. I'm not a fan of MGK.
I'm announcing that we're retiring the KaeDee exchange. This has been a nice run. This is the end of season 1, and we're a 1-season podcast, and that's it. We decided to go our separate ways.
No. I will take. I don't think I rate Drake that lowly. And also, bearing in mind, I have not listened to a full MGK album at all. I'm only going off that diss track with Eminem. That's all I'm going off. And just for that alone, I was like, oh, actually, well, there's a little bit of ability in there. I don't get...
There's a little bit of ability, but
I don't...
Drake would wash him.
Do you think...
Cool. Drake would body MGK.
Okay, fine.
Drake can stand his, Drake can stand his own when he wants to. I think this is a problem, but I'll let you get into...
Here we go. Yeah. Okay, fine. So do you know what? Maybe I'll study a bit of MGK and I'll come back to you on that.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, I do like the rapping. I think it's a decent tune. You with me? Like, it's kind of like a, almost a call to arms kind of thing. Like, I do kind of like that sense of, are you guys with me? Like, I do like that. It's something bigger than himself.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But you only get that only a couple of times throughout the song and a couple of times throughout the album. But anyway.
Do you like the DMX sample?
I do, yeah. I couldn't for the life of me. Where was it from again?
It's that how's it going down? It's on till we gone, and I got to know now. Yeah. I think the song is called How's It Going Down, right? It's on It's Dark and Hell Is Hot. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah. Do you know what? We're going to have to do a DMX deep dive.
Yeah. I actually want to, because
so do I
haven't even listened to his full discography, and I need to.
Do you know what? I started getting... There was the Great Depression, album number 4, and then there was one other one, the 5th one.
There's like Undisputed or something like that?
Or was it Grand Champ?
It might have been Grand Champ,
I think it was Grand Champ. That was when I stopped. I sort of fell away a bit from DMX. But I was there for 5 albums, man. I was there.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, man. I liked him as a person as well, though. That was the thing.
Yeah, same.
I really liked him as a person. But anyway.
I've only heard one. I really kept meaning to move. Like, I'd heard songs from other albums, like Party Up, for example. It's just, that's such a great song. And the only one I'd heard is Dark and Hell Is Hot all the way through. And that one used to get played all the time.
Yeah.
Just back to front. It was so fucking good. And I was like, I kept wanting to listen to the Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood one. Yeah, I kept wanting to listen to that. Just never got around to doing it.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Okay, I wish I'd listened to it.
Yeah, there's been, you know what, like, he, just watching him at his prime over the last couple of days, like, it's been amazing. Like, Woodstock 1999, people are saying that, like, Obama got this many people and, Trump got this many people, and then DMX is playing to like 400,000 people. Like, it was a massive festival. Like, it was a festival though. They were there to see, like, you know what I mean, like Cypress
Bunch of
Hill
people, yeah.
and
Yeah.
flipping, I don't know who else, Rage Against the Machine and Korn and Limp Bizkit and
Mhm.
Jamiroquai played there. Like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
wow. That was a really, for me, that was a really, really important festival
Yeah.
because it
Right.
was so famous already, but then it became
Mm.
infamous, especially with like the Limp Bizkit stuff, because
Oh,
he
okay.
shouldn't have done that. But yeah, DMX playing that, like I have that. I have his set somewhere on some old PC. But yeah,
Oh, is it?
it's yeah. I loved it. It was just brilliant because
Wait,
what
were
for
you
me,
there?
no.
Oh, okay.
Woodstock '99 was in flipping America, dude.
I was
But
just like, yeah, just the way you're talking about it, I was thinking, oh,
oh
wait.
man, I wish I was. Oh, I wish I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
DVD of like this tour. What's it called? Jay-Z's on it, Method Man and Redman are on it, and DMX is part of it. Ja Rule, like when he was early on, kind of they were all part of it. This tour, I can't remember what it's called. And yeah, DMX goes fucking off on like I remember watching that thinking, man, these guys are insane performers, right? I think that's what stepped up Jay-Z's kind of performance, right? He was like leveling up to kind of these young guns around him, especially someone like DMX, right?
DMX was the guy before Jay-Z
Yeah,
was. DMX was
right.
untouchable, but we will get into that in the stereo episode. I've got like,
Yeah, for sure.
oh man, so many things. But anyway,
Go on.
right, Feel No Ways,
Mm.
track number 4. Um, okay, I said I can't get past the singing. Sorry, I just can't do it. But
Fair enough.
but then I also think that this is another way of ragging on him, but there is substance to my ragging on Drake. I think that one of the most lyrically and thematically like lazy things to do is to be singing about like it's just about me and you and that's it sort of thing, like directed to a person. I think that
Right.
I, I think that Drake does that so much in this album. I think that, you know, there are times and places to be like that. Linkin Park made a career off that. Like, do you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
right.
But I
Yeah.
think that they changed up a lot of the sonics, the music around them, so they were always able to sing about like, you
Right.
know, it's me and you and it doesn't matter in the end, it, you know, whatever.
Mm.
All the lyrics were, but I find that with Drake it just kind of grinds on me because I'm like, there is ability in there. There's obviously a brain in there. Just stop being lazy. Like, give me,
Right.
here you go. And now you're talking down on my name on purpose. And now you don't feel no way. You think I deserve it. Wow, dude. Profound. And then he ends with, I stop listening to the things that you say. Now, to counteract what I've just said, there
Yeah.
comes something really simple, succinct, and quite powerful. I stop listening to the things that you say. I've
Yeah.
outgrown you.
Yeah.
I am better.
That's what I get
Drake,
from that song. Yeah.
it is in there. Okay. It is in there. And I can see it, dude. I can. I'm being fair.
Mm-hmm.
But why do I have
No,
to go?
I feel you on that. I
Why
feel
do I
you on
have
that.
to go through all this bullshit singing? I'm sorry, dude. Listen, look, me, I was going to save this for later. I grew up listening to, like, I don't know, Freddie Mercury, Bob
Mm.
Marley, MJ, Luther Vandross, crooners like Alexander O'Neill, Elton John, singers, man, singers.
Yeah.
Drake, you ain't no. He's not a singer. What is he doing? It's not even good. Just because he uses a bit of auto tune, like you're not good. And like this is the same thing I had with Childish Gambino. I really, really, really rated him as a rapper. I really do like his stuff, and his freestyles are disgusting. Like the one where he's just like, I've been running my whole life.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, as well, you can tell when something's like off the top of his head. You can see him thinking
Yeah.
it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
The thing is with Drake, and also Childish Gambino, stop singing. You just get people who can sing really well.
Were you not a fan of the can't remember the name of the album. Awaken My Love. Childish Gambino. With like Redbone, Terrified, Zombies.
Is that the one with the weird
The blue album cover?
Yeah.
It's all singing.
Yeah, no, dude. Has it got Flight of the Navigator on it?
Nah, 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 nah.
Uh, then no, no, because I think a couple of tunes off it, and the names escape me. But I was like, nah, dude, like rap. Thing is about
That's how
Childish
I felt first
Gambino.
time.
Thing is, the music that he layers, like
Yeah,
great ear. He's got something else, right? He's got this way of building
yeah,
soundscapes and painting with
yeah,
music.
yeah.
You know, he takes your brain somewhere.
I have to agree with you. I think he's a bit overrated when it comes to certain aspects of his music. Like especially now, I don't really listen. I don't check for. I'm not excited about any of his new music coming out unless I
Absolutely
hear
not.
that he's bringing out a rap album.
Agreed.
Then I'll be like, okay, I'm excited again.
Yeah.
But that Awaken My Love, I felt the same way. And then listened to it like a year later when it was fresh. And now it's like one of my favorite albums.
Oh, fair enough. Look,
Yeah.
fair enough.
But
I might
I
come
think,
back on the Drake train, but I don't
no,
think so.
but I don't know about, which, well, we'll see. But like with the Childish Gambino one, he does do singing and stuff in other aesthetics, like over other kind of music and beats. And
Yeah, man.
it's too airy for me. It's too weird. And it's like I forgot he dropped an album last year. It just had a white front cover. It was like one of those super minimalist ones, and every song just had this weird collection of numbers or a date or something. And it was like weird for no reason, weird. You know what I mean?
But the thing is,
That's,
I do get the impression he is a weirdo. Like if
I
you've
get
seen
that
some of
too,
his
but
early stand-ups and stuff,
oh yeah,
he's odd as hell,
and
funny.
and Community as well.
I still haven't seen that.
Oh, that's a good show. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
really good in
everyone
that.
tells me it's really good. And
Yeah.
Atlanta, I heard, is really good as
Atlanta's
well.
really good. Really
Okay,
good.
cool. I will check him out at some stage. Me and the wife, we are into Line of Duty at the moment.
Oh,
I
okay.
cannot believe how sick this show is, dude. Like it's
Don't think I watched it, but
it's legit. Like it's so good. Anyway, um,
yeah. I think we're
okay.
on hype.
Hype, yeah.
Yeah.
Meh. I put just meh.
Fair enough.
I didn't really feel the
Yeah.
hype on that one. Again, it's not music that's going to pump your adrenal glands. It's not going to make your nuts sort of go, yeah. It's not going to make you stand up and want to flip tables or anything like that. You know what I mean?
It's a weird song name. It's weird,
Yeah.
like, because actually he's not saying to get hype. He's saying I'm done with the hype. You know,
Precisely.
I'm done
Yeah.
with. You know, it kind of. I think because when I first heard that, I had the same thing as you.
Yeah.
Everyone around me, hype, such a banger. I'm like, no, it's not. And it's like, I really like it now though, because I've come in fresh, and now I just see it as a good rap song for me. And also coming off, if you're reading this, is too late. That was like full of cocky Drake. So when I heard some of that stuff on here, I was like, it's a bit tired now. It's not as good. And yeah, it wasn't the hype song I wanted for a song called Hype. It's just like, no, okay, I get it. You're done with the hype.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be something else, right?
Yeah.
But this ties into what I'm going to say about the album, which I'll come into later on. Like a lot of these things tie in about how I feel about it. But yeah, because you're touching on some of them, which is good. So without me saying them, so yeah, hype was just meh to you.
Yeah, and if you'd have let me finish my thought, I'd have come round on it. Because you've now said it.
Why? What do you mean?
No, because I went into it. That took me a couple of listens. Like I went into it just like, no, it's bullshit. Like I don't. No.
Oh, I thought you were saying that it's you. You were just saying, meh. Like that's
initial,
it. I literally thought you were going to move on. Like,
oh no. I've got a little bit. There's a little bit of meat on this bone. No. It's cool, man.
My bad.
Jumping the gun, this guy.
It's the way you said it. You were just. I thought you were going to go meh. Okay, Western Road Fluids and just go in. That's how it sounded.
So with regards to like there's one of the themes that he touches on, and he speaks on color and stuff. Being a mixed race don in a predominantly black like environment, and I can't remember what the lyrics is, but he mentions it like he's too. He was like too light like MJ or something like that.
I'm still blacking.
Yeah, or something like that. And I was like, right, okay, cool. So there's meat on the bone here, dude. Like, so tell me what it is like. Like, let me walk around in your shoes. Like, what has happened to you?
Bring me in a bit more to that.
What's going on? You can't just. He always alludes to stuff, and he doesn't. ever flesh anything out because it's surface level stuff. This is the problem with this Don. He's an average Don, and there's nothing beneath the surface. Sorry, dude. He's an average Don. I'm not having it.
No, you don't need to apologize, bro. You do.
No, but I know that you're. Yeah, I know that you're a fan.
I'm a big Drake fan, but I'm also a fan, so you can say.
Yeah, fair play, bro. But
I don't get offended by that. So.
I just really want him to really just let me in. Like, what must that be like? Because like at the end of the day, like if a black person says something disparaging about white people or something, well, that's half your family, bro. How do you feel?
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean? Or if somebody says
that's an interesting take, right?
Yeah.
Like, explore it.
Yeah. If somebody from the white family says something disparaging about black people, how do you feel? Because like you're happy to drop the N-bomb, but you're not really considered like a full like black person. Like maybe in your own eyes, like how do you feel? Because you're mixed race, like you're not fully black, but you're not fully white. You're just this mixed race guy, but you're dropping N-bombs. So what side of the fence do you come on?
Right.
There's
explore that.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuance there. And I can see it, and I'm like, yeah, boy, the gate's there. All you need to do is just walk on through it, boy. You know what Morpheus says in The Matrix? Just, I can only show you the door, Neo. Like, yes, just walk on through, Drake. But he doesn't. He holds back, and then I was just like, this is you. Surface level done. Right.
Yeah.
Western Road flows. He's much better when he raps. I don't even care what he says. I just like his flow. I actually genuinely really enjoy it. I'm
and
just
that
like,
beat?
Beat
you didn't like the beat?
The beat is it's good.
Oh,
I was like, boy. Yeah, it's good.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like I like it when he raps with the beat. It's all right.
No. I actually liked it. This is the thing with the music. Like I've barely brought it up because I only remember 2 songs. Like I've got a really good memory when it comes to music that I like. I only remember 2 songs from this whole album right now. So
it's fair enough.
I haven't even spoken about the music because
you don't really remember.
Actually, tell a lie. It's 3 songs. This one is where I've marked the music.
Okay.
So much better when he raps. I like the fact that he speaks on friendships. I like the fact that because this is the one where he says that we even had secret handshakes to greet each other and stuff like that. I quite like that. I'm like,
it's very personable, right?
Yeah, I want to know more. Like, what else? Let me in a little bit more, bro. Like, I don't need you to flex about money.
Because we don't care really. Like,
just give me something to latch onto. Why do we like, why do we like Royce da 5'9"? Because he's also Skyzoo, for example.
Skyzoo,
Music for My Friends. What a debut album! It let you into absolutely every facet of him. I felt like I knew Skyzoo after listening to that album just once, and I've listened to that album many, many times, and I'm like, I really like. He seems like a dude that I just really, really like, right? And he's somebody that you root for. Drake could have that, or maybe he had that before the commercial success. Maybe he had that because I wasn't ever too hot on him, right? But I don't feel maybe he's let people in like in the past. Like I don't know, but he's not doing it now. But moving on swiftly, I bet you had a bit of a quarter chub when he said "shout out to KaeDee" on that song.
Why would you say it like that?
That's my friend.
Nah, at uni, I remember people used to say like, people would be like, he said your name, and I'm like, yeah. And then it's only after that I would notice it. I would just be like, I noticed it now.
And then you'd go home and you know what I mean, like add like a love hearts to your little mural over the bed.
Oh man, do you know what? My favorite one was actually when J. Cole said it in Fire Squad. It was when 2 Live Crew meets 2 something, and says meets KaeDee, ain't nobody that can do it like me. Blah. That was the way the beat drops out and he's fully just like meets KaeDee, and I was just like, okay, I know you're talking about someone else, but yes, that's my boy. I know J. Cole. That's when I was getting gassed. But when in this song, obviously Drake's like, everyone was listening to Drake at uni, so it was like, he dropped your name in the song, and this is one of those more like introspective songs that I was like I like the vibe of it. So I was listening to it more.
Mm.
And so yeah, every time he says it, he says KaeDee. He says it in a bit more of a passing way. It's like shout to KaeDee, we da 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 da. I can't remember what it was. So yeah, I don't really get that gassed about it, to be fair. It's just something funny of friends to say.
So it must be at this point, right? I've just put like a frowning face.
Okay.
And that's because I was clock watching at this point. I was like, fuck me, is this album over yet? I was ready for it to end.
I understand.
But like I don't know, it's like going to a football match and you know what I mean? Like in 20 minutes, you're 4-0 down and
you're like, what's the point of me staying here?
You've paid good money to watch this, right? And then you're like, well, I might as well stay because I'm here. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? Traveled an hour and a half to stay for 20 minutes, then leave. Lord have mercy. Anyway, Redemption and With You, so that's 7 and 8. I didn't really find a lot of meat on the bone on these, just because, like, I've listened to this album twice, and I've also listened to each song like individually because, like, sod listening to the album like again, like. No.
Fair enough.
So, but every time I can't vibe with these songs. I don't know why. I just don't. Track number 9, Faithful.
What's that? Oh yeah, Faithful. Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. It's a passable song. And I've put here, like, the album is super dragging now. So, you know, for the last 3 songs, I'm like, the thing is, though, when I think about it, the album does weirdly flow. And I can't explain why. Like, it flows seamlessly into the background, right? Like, when I was listening to it, I was like, I need to concentrate. And I just found other more interesting things to think about. Like, oh, is that a bit of dust in the corner? Might need to clean that. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Faithful, yeah, it's all right. Still here, it's okay. I think it'd be really, really decent in the club to listen to.
Yeah, that's a banger. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's all right. Like, yeah, again, Controller. So this is where the album goes into kind of, you know what we talk about, like, it's not cultural appropriation, right? I was talking to Chris about this today. I think cultural appropriation is it sort of entails a more sinister sort of emotion, or a more sinister meaning. I think, and Chris said, you know, Drake is a master at spotting trends, what's really hot at the time, right? So this song with Controller, right, I hate the song. One Dance as well, and also later on in the album, Too Good. Like, it's definitely not hip hop, is it? It's got that kind of, you know, dance hall-y vibe and stuff. You know, it's okay. You know, Controller's okay, but he's singing. It just turns me off. Like, I can't do it. One Dance, I just put, he's absolutely stealing vibes, but it's okay. I prefer the female vocals. I can't remember who the lady is.
I can't remember who it is. Yeah,
I was going to mark it, but I can't remember. But yeah, I love the piano as well in there because it's got that 90s club-esque vibe.
Right, yeah.
Piano music for the win. More of that, Drake. Flipping more of that. Like, because, like, so far, so we're on track 12. There are elements. He's got so many great little ingredients separately. If he cared, because he has ability, it's quite abundantly clear. If he cared, like, he could make not just a meh album so far for me, but he could make something special. And this is the thing on what was the album? Oh my God, where's his face? Nothing Was the Same. Is that the album? The blue one, yeah, with his side profile.
Look at the side profile, yeah.
Yeah. Now, that came out at a time where, oh no, wait. That was one of the first albums me and I think my wife listened to, right? So there's an emotional connection there already.
Yeah. She told you to listen to it, right?
Something there you go. Something like that. Like, it was in the sort of zeitgeist as we were getting together. And I genuinely, like, there's a lot of songs on there that I'm like, okay, cool. Because it's kind of, at that time, he was new. And, you know, we hadn't heard this before. So it was like, yeah, okay, cool. Like, I can really get on board with him then. But in the album since, like with this, I'm like, there's no notable growth. Like, dude, like, what are you doing? There's
for sure.
ability. I know. I've seen it in you. Why do you not care? He cares about making money. Dude, this is all it is. And this is what Immortal Technique says. For all of you listeners, I strongly advise everybody to at least listen to Open Your Eyes by Immortal Technique. It is not a song. It is a soliloquy, a monologue over a beat. That's it. Just listen to it. Just listen to it, because there's I'm going to steal one line from it. And he says, opportunity comes at the price of the soul in the music. Okay. I've said it on this podcast before, and I strongly, strongly believe that Drake is a golden child of that phrase right there. That sentence, Drake is that. There is nothing but surface, nothing but money to the music. There's like, for me, he doesn't grab me and say, hey man, care about me. He alludes to it. And the thing is, I see what he's doing, and I can't quite get there, right? And some of the beats, the music, the production it's spotless. It's what you'd expect. But anyway, Grammys, meh.
No love for Future.
Future doesn't do it for me. And the thing is, though, I find Future is I don't know, like I know his voice instantly, and I know like everyone loves Future. Future don't do it for me.
Fair enough.
I don't think he's. To be fair, I've only really heard him feature on stuff. I've not heard any Future albums at all. Right, so I'm just going off. I'm just going off what I'm hearing, and that's not a lot. Okay, and I know Future's humongous.
I don't think you're gonna vibe with a whole Future album. I might just give you one actually, but yeah, go on, continue.
Fucking Future. To be honest, I bet you he's more honest than Drake is. I bet he's got more substance to him than Drake.
We'll see.
Oh, jeez. So he doesn't. So he's another empty air-headed, like flipping rapper, just talking crap. Then.
Well, for him, I would actually give that assessment more readily than Drake. With Drake, I have a bit more nuance in my argument for it, right? With Future, it's a bit more kind of straight up, like, yeah, I'm not going to him for any substance really. It's every now and then a line or two where you pick out. That's if you can understand what he's saying, and then pick out a line or two, which is like, oh, that's kind of cool. But mainly, it's vibe music. It's something put on in the background when you've got people over and you're drinking and you just want some good beats and just a voice over the top. It's just vibes. Play it in the club loud. No one wants to hear the lyrics. No one cares. That's what Future is. He's got an aesthetic that works in certain environments. Do you know what I mean? He's tried to get personal before, I think, and it works for him. It's got a particular sound to it. It's not for me, but yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of hedonistic kind of drug talk and women talk and kind of just overbeats, and just he's got a cool flow there. The way he mumbles it and stuff, like he's one of the four kind of he's one of the early kind of mumble rappers, I guess. I hate that term mumble rapper, but if you want to classify anyone as that, he's definitely one of them, even though I can understand him. Yeah, some of his music is like, it's just got to be on the right beat, and it's cool. Add it to the gym playlist, add it to the background playlist, if people are over. It's cool. It's just fits a certain vibe. I'm not going like, I want to get into Future's head. Yeah, you're not going to get it, man. You're not going to get any of that.
Fair play. As somebody that doesn't know any of his music. All right, cool.
Yeah, I don't think you need to dive into Future, to be fair. I can't see it gelling with you.
Good. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't give it, if you do say one day like, oh, we'll give you Future, I'll just flat out refuse. Like, no, because you're going to annoy me. Like, you're going to annoy me. Like, I'm already on crud. Like, especially today. Like, I was telling Chris, I was like, I'm so pissed off today, man. Like, got to review this
hilarious.
Fucking album. Like, I fucking hate Drake. Anyway.
This is what I wanted. Yes.
Oh my goodness. And he was like, he said to me, he said, oh, I like Angry David. Like, it's good. Like, to be honest, I think I've been pretty measured. I think that I've backed up most of my arguments. Like, I haven't flown off the handle.
Don't worry. You haven't gone into old man territory. You haven't gone into music was better in my day. Rah, 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 rah.
Nah, it's not that. It's just a certain artist vibe, and like I like
Yeah, no, I
artists
get it.
with substance, dude. I don't like nothing music. Drake, I'll get to it later. All right, so Grammys, nah,
Yeah.
like that's a hard pass from me. Child's
Mhm.
Play. I said that the songs are starting to blur into one. It's okay, I guess,
Mhm.
and by okay, I mean that's just the music. I can't remember what Drake's doing over the top of it. Can't remember anything.
We'll get into that later because it's of importance to me. But
Oh,
as
okay,
into
cool, cool.
what I'm going to mention, yeah.
Okay, good. Oh, that's why we do this, yin and yang.
Yeah, man.
What is it?
Yeah.
Pop Style, the next one. The track 15.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's a hard pass from me.
I feel you on that one. Boring as fuck.
Yeah, it's
Am
horrible.
I right?
Horrible.
Yeah.
Number 16 is Too Good. I mean, that's the one that I remember. The thing is, I hate his singing. I love Rihanna's voice on it. Love Rihanna's voice.
Rihanna.
On it.
Yeah, Rihanna floats on that nice.
Yeah, that's why I like the song. And also the bass line is something that of interest because it is not doing what you expect it to do at all. You can obviously figure it out because it's formulaic, basic, music by the numbers. But this is like nuanced music. Like, oh, hang on a minute,
cool.
the bass line. Just listen to it. It doesn't do what you expect it to do on the beat that you think it's going to do it.
I'm trying to think of it in my head. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have a listen to it after.
Listen to it really loud and put the bass on. It's just like, oh, and for me, like, I
of course, that's your bag.
I love the song as well. I love the music as well, and it's got a nice the beat. And Rihanna has done songs like that for ages and ages. This is her wheelhouse. She's comfortable.
Yeah,
when Drake does his, his sort of Jafaican,
I was about to say
on it, like, you're not about that life, bro. Like, don't do that. Yeah. Know about it. And maybe that's not for me to say because I obviously being Caribbean myself, when I'm around family, like that's when the accent comes out, right?
It happens.
But that's kind of like for family. And then like usually when I'm pissed off about something, like my son does something, then it will come out. Like
yeah.
But when you're doing it on like tracks and stuff like that. So this is what we were saying about like Sonny Sandoval of POD last week. He does a lot of that, right? And he always has done. And like sometimes it's like, and I find I got that reaction with Drake when it's just like, I hate that. Like, so just don't do it, bro, because you ain't about that life. Oh, it's don't do it because that falls into cultural appropriation, right there. And obviously he is half black. Like I do understand that, but where? Because he could be half Nigerian for all I know. I don't know.
Exactly, right? He's not Jamaican though. He's not part of that culture. And even we talked about this last time. Yes, Toronto has a huge Caribbean influence, but none of this was in your music until this stuff started to pop.
There you go.
That's what it is.
There you go. Right? And Rihanna's been a big proponent of that since 2005, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, like Ponder Replay and stuff. She's worn it on her chest. And I mean, she's from Barbados, right? She's Barbados.
Yeah.
Is she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barbados.
I was thinking if I'd got it wrong, but she's worn it on her chest, right? She's fully embodied that. Yeah, she's not tried to be anything else, and then just when something pops, jumped back on that wave.
Correct.
Whereas Drake, there's no real hints of it in any of his early music. It's only at this certain point.
So he spots trends, right?
This is when WizKid starts getting bigger in the mainstream, right? Not just in Nigeria.
There you go.
He's now suddenly my white friends are listening to him. Now suddenly he's been
let's
played
be
everywhere.
Real. Like WizKid is lit. Like
but what I mean is that his music has always been around. Like my girlfriend's Nigerian, right?
Yeah.
I used to hear it all the time, but then there was a point where it was like starting to leak out. So you'd hear people you weren't expecting to listen to it. Suddenly they're like, "Oh yeah, there's a new WizKid tune out," and you're like, "What?" Yeah, I heard this one song and it's so big. Like Burna Boy as well, for example. He's like a mainstream mainstay, right? There was a time before when he was like he was just part of that crew. Yeah, he was like, if you're into that kind of music, you knew about Burna Boy. Now it's like standard. Now it's like you see featuring Burna Boy on a Stormzy album and you're like, yes, can't wait for it.
Yeah.
But,
really like Burna Boy. Really
Burna Boy's sick. Yeah.
He's got a great voice.
He does.
Oh, he's awesome. Again, like he's like a big old sort of oak of a vocal man. Like he puts the oak in vocal. But the
oak in vocal. Yeah.
He's
nice.
Yeah, Drake, eh? So yeah, stealing, stealing. You know, you're not a Robin Hood character. You're just a flipping vulture. Anyway, so yeah, too good. I mean, like, yeah, I only like Rihanna on it. Summer's over. It's an interlude. Whatever. Fire and Desire. Nah, nah.
Fair enough.
It's a no from me. 19 views, and I put easily the best song on the album. The sound,
I
the
knew you were gonna
vibe,
say
the
that. I knew it.
rapping, the sub.
Mhm.
You know, the rapping's decent, but again, lyricism is subpar at best. But the music,
Yeah.
this sounds like it belongs on Blueprint Free. This has got that nice airy kind of thing. The bass is really sort of subdued. Like there's no bass.
Mm.
It's more like top end bass, like treble bass
Yeah.
almost. It's just this sort of.
It's very
It's
hip
like
hop.
it's so hip hop. There's no
Mm.
middle. It's like all high, and his
Yeah.
vocals floats right in the middle of
hmm
the sort of like
That
airiness of that.
sandwich. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, like wow, what an amazing way to like waste my time. Okay, because because I had to wait 19 freaking songs to get to this. Like this is the meat and this should be his bread and butter. What are you talking about? And I had to wait
Yeah.
19 songs for this.
I
Nah, your album gets a hard pass from me. It's a no. It's a no from me. Okay, I will
yeah.
never listen to this album again. I will listen to 3 tunes from it. Views is one of them. Too Good is another, and I even
Hotline
forget the
Bling.
other one. Oh yeah, Hotline Bling. Yeah, so I got confused. Like last episode, I said that I listened to it and I really, really liked it. No, it was another song that I was
Oh,
thinking of, another Drake song. Completely. I don't know how I got it so spectacularly wrong. Yeah,
are you thinking
Hotline.
of Hold On, We're Going Home?
There you go. No, no, no. Hold on, We're Going Home is a really sort of crappy singing one, right?
I
I,
wouldn't say crappy, but it is a
I,
singing one.
yeah, it's a singing one. No, I don't do singing. There's one. No, Hotline Bling.
So which one are you talking about?
I think it is. Oh, do you know what? I can't remember. I've got it wrong. It's not Hotline Bling anyway. I listened to it on this album. I was like, what the hell was I talking about? I can't remember what song it was.
Okay.
Yeah, Hotline Bling. Nah.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Nah. Um, I've forgotten how to word. I can only make horrible guttural sounds now. Okay, this is what podcasting is 101. Okay, yeah.
For
What
sure.
of? I mean, this album is a hot mess of themes and ability and like great ideas and really crap wastes of time and awful, like awful lyricism and terrible singing. And it's got like, oh my goodness, it's got like no. The problem is, right, it's 19 songs, but it's the album flows like it actually goes. Like, how do you do that? This could
Yeah.
have been genuinely, this could have been a masterpiece. And like, what's even more frustrating is like, now that I'm talking to you about it, like earlier on, I was just annoyed and I was just like, I think I hate this. The thing is, now I'm more annoyed at the missed opportunity because, dude, he's got ability. Like we've
That
spoken
makes
about
it
this.
worse, right? That makes it worse when it's just kind of
It, it's a shameless
could have been
cash
something
grab.
else.
It's a shameless cash grab. The lyricism is surface level. Okay, the meanings, the themes, everything. It's surface level because oh my goodness. Do you know what? Drake represents absolutely everything that is wrong with the music industry.
Right.
No substance. We in society used to celebrate like war heroes and people that have done stuff to better humanity, and maybe like artists that sang about stuff that united people. Artists have united countries. Like, you know what I mean? We've celebrated people that do amazing things. Didier Drogba stopped. He's a Chelsea striker, played football for
Mm-hmm.
crying out loud. In the Ivory Coast, he stopped a civil war. He stopped a civil war.
Right.
We need to celebrate these kind of people. Drake is a mediocre don. Okay, not a great singer. Not a great singer. I'm not having it.
Okay.
No, not a great singer. Rapping, decent cadence, decent flow. Lyrics for this album, there are a
Mixed
few
bag.
that are good,
Yeah.
and there's lots. I would say it's a it is maybe for me 10% really good, 90% like throw it away. It is disposable, non-stick, Teflon Dom. Like, it doesn't matter. He represents just a shameless cash grab. Okay. And this is where I stand on Drake. I do not think he's an artist worth celebrating because he's mediocre. And it represents exactly where we as a society, if we're raising him up on a platform, we'll raise anything up there. End.
Okay. Fair.
It's very fair. It's very fair. Okay. I'm sorry, dude. Please counter.
Again, don't apologize. Not at all. Because this is the thing. Every time I have a Drake conversation with people, the only reason that I feel like I have to say to people, look, I'm a big Drake fan, is because the conversations go a multitude of ways. And so sometimes it's hard to ground where you actually, the other person stands on this artist. Because again, you know, as Wiley would say, we're an exaggeration nation, right? And I don't think that's just for the UK. I think that's across the board, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people see in black and white. You say anything critical about something, you're a hater, right? You say anything not critical, then you're just, you know, you're just sucking up to it.
It's partisanship.
Yeah. And it's not true, and especially with someone like Drake. It's such a diverse range of, like I keep saying, this is a big thing for him now. He's got such a wide audience base. It's I sympathize to an extent from an artist point of view of artistically what are you going to do, right? Because on one hand, you know, you're a human being who wants to retain their income and, you know, their status and whatever else, right? Are you really going to take a big risk by just making a full hip hop album? I mean, you almost tried it with the next album. He almost tried it. It was weak, right? He did like a side A.
Money, bro, when you've got more money than you know what to do with, you can take a risk for your artistic integrity. I'm not having that.
That's a good point. I was going to say that actually, if you look at someone like Eminem, who I think is in the same boat, who's Eminem's like an MC's MC. Like that guy could have just been an underground MC his whole life, right? He raps like he's still, like he is still, right? And yet somehow it's like he's almost accidentally become this mainstream icon, and he still clutters his albums, in my opinion, with these kind of big anthem songs, which aren't necessary at this point, because you've made some of the best ones ever with things like songs like Lose Yourself and Till I Collapse and whatever else. We don't need Toy Soldiers. That's the other one I was thinking of. You don't need anymore. And when you listen to those ones and compare it to these new ones, the new ones sound recycled. The other ones sound like the OG ones, right? Now, you know, he's on the other side of the spectrum. He's still trying to do his rap thing. It's just he sometimes caters every now and then to these other fan bases, right? Drake feels like he's split across everyone. It's like the next album he drops, right? Scorpion. There was a side A, and it almost felt like there's no way he could just drop the side A version, which was just all hip hop songs. It's like he had to do a side B as well to show, you know, with the singing songs and whatever else. Even then, I'll go into so I get it from that point of view, right? Now, we always have these diverse conversations whenever you talk about Drake, again, because he's got a diverse fan base. And I always have to say I'm a big fan because I get accused of being a hater just because I don't like some of his newer stuff. Like, bruv, come on, man. Like, it's okay. It's okay to be a fan.
Well, what the hell?
Okay. Look, this is something that we need to do in general in our society. One is to stop the idol worship of people, right? And especially celebrity worship. We talked about that last time. Two is calling your friends out on bullshit, right? If your friends are doing madness, call them out. This is especially for young boys, right? Just call them out on this shit, right? Without fear of kind of being seen as a simp or you know, being seen as dry or you're ruining the vibe. Nah, bruv. If you're seeing your boys do, you know, something that you find a bit suspect and you think, I don't know about that, man. I don't think you should be treating so and so this way, that way. We need to normalize calling that out. Now, that's a more serious kind of topic, but I see it reflected in how people treat their kind of their favorite artists and things like that, where it's as soon as you're critical, you're hating. In the same way that as soon as you're critical of your boy, suddenly you're not a real friend. When actually, I would
Straight
argue,
up.
I'd argue you are being a real friend, right?
Absolutely.
Now, you want your friends and you want people to improve and get better. How are you going to do that? How is your child going to learn anything? For example, in another, example, how is your child going to learn anything if you just always tell them that everything they do is right and great and perfect?
Absolutely right.
Absolutely and they don't ever, and they don't ever learn how to take any form of criticism.
Exactly.
And they don't understand that there's this, you have to improve yourself and that sometimes you may slip. I think it's actually better that I am saying that I think Drake can still make something really good, right? I think that's better than me saying, this is just the level he's at now. He's trash.
Yeah, cancel culture, like he's done.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I think that some of the newer music he's put out, I'm not feeling it. I think he can do better. I think that's way better. That shows more of how much of a fan or how much belief I have in him than if I was to, I'd rather someone say that about me. If they get to a point where I start putting out stuff that's a bit mid or a bit kind of lazy or whatever, if my friends like said to me, I'd hate for my friends to big it up, right? Knowing full well that they're not actually feeling it, right?
Agreed.
I'd really hate that.
Yeah.
Two, if my friend said to me, maybe you're just not that good anymore, because then that means that, oh shit, what there's no room now, right? There's no room for kind of getting better. Almost, it's almost just like shit. Whereas if they said to me, I think you can do better, it's just I'm not feeling what you've put out right now. I think you can do so much better. Then it means that okay, so I have it in me. I need to reassess what I'm doing wrong.
They have the faith. That's better.
Yes.
Faith
now that's way more positive.
Yeah.
Right.
You're
Whereas the yes men thing, nah, miss me with that. Right. When it comes to Drake, it comes with loads of artists. People do that for Eminem. People do it with MJ, right? As well. People do it with Beyonce. Dude. They think that everything they touch is gold.
Yeah.
Nah.
It's like,
come on, man.
Listen, I've been listening to a lot of Linkin Park, the early stuff. I'm a huge Linkin Park fan. The first two albums.
Yeah. Right. Good.
The real Linkin Park, right? I get that. But they went off in another direction. And I've listened to songs here, there, and everywhere. And I wouldn't say that, because I didn't really like where they ended up and stuff, I wouldn't say that I wasn't a Linkin Park fan. Like, I understand, like, some of the genius that they've done. And that's the thing, what you're saying. And that's also what I've said about Drake. Like, you've heard me say it. This album is a hodgepodge. It's got elements of...
Yeah.
Honestly, if he just applied himself, if he just set a direction, if he just knuckled down and actually became, like, a semi-decent... Just be an MC. Don't be a singer. Leave it. Dead that. Just choose what you want to be. Like, all this singing and stuff like that. Like, I was talking to my brother about Drake today, right? And I've got my brother Alex, right? It's really weird. Like, we are like a musical sort of yin and yang. Okay. So, just as an example, when Eminem and G Unit were like sort of in their infancy, right?
Yeah.
I went to the Eminem stage. I was firmly in the Eminem camp, right? I was like, G Unit, nah, whatever. Alex was in the G Unit side of things. Loved 50. Absolutely loves Lloyd Banks. You and him would have a
Lloyd really Banks is that guy.
Listen, I found like some stuff on YouTube of it. Like, he's sick, and I've been sleeping, and my brother Alex was like, dude, like, what's happening? We were talking about like Griselda and stuff. Like, he's like, you listen to Griselda? I was just like, you ain't been listening to my podcast. But
yeah, you were saying he was in the G Unit camp, you were in the Eminem camp.
Exactly. We started talking about the Slaughters and all of that stuff. But anyway, right, where is it? I said that he was going to be in the podcast. Here we go. So with regards to Drake's album, this album, Views, he said the album is quite a bit longer than I expected, but I also think his audience is much younger than us. Plus, it's for females and arrogant people. And I think in one little message there, I'm like, there you go. that I think is it. Like, it's not tailored to. Yeah, I'm not even that old. Like, I'm not even 40. Like, I'm not even that
right.
old. But I like to think that I'm
You're probably
open-minded.
about Drake's age.
Really? He looks
I think so.
flipping-tastic, doesn't he?
I think he's like in his mid-30s, I swear.
He looks fantastic. I look like absolutely terrible. I look like I don't know, a tree that's been out in the sun too long, like 300 years.
I'm going to fact check this.
Yeah, man, cool.
I'm just interested now in general.
Oh, I always just see him as 21.
Oh, no, he's 34 years old.
34. Oh, man, I'm only a couple of years older than that boy. So, yeah, man, like, he's, yeah, I think he caters to an audience that maybe, like, it isn't, you know, in a...
Yeah. I think you've muted yourself, bro.
I don't do that, bro.
But I don't know. I was thinking, like, to my headphones stuff.
Nah, it's me. I just muted myself. Well, it's about time somebody did, because all I was doing was hated. But yeah, like,
no, you're not.
I just think that again, I go back to my point of celebrating like mediocrity. This is where this culture is, unfortunately, where average dons and victims of stuff get celebrated. We don't celebrate like achievement and realness and stuff. I have seen a lot of celebration since DMX has died of the amount of comments I've seen on like videos like of his music videos, just like he was a real one, wasn't he? Like, oh my goodness, like, I didn't realize how real he was. Blah, blah,
it's
blah,
almost
blah,
like
blah,
a shock, right?
It really is a shock. And it's just like, I've been there since like pretty much day one, man. Like somebody that I feel like I've grown with. But I feel that, maybe people will feel that way about Drake. Like, he talks to them in some kind of way. I just don't feel that, like, the lyricism and clever wordplay and things like that, that brings me into artists. Like, show me you care about your craft.
Yeah.
I don't get the feeling that he cares as much as say a Griselda, or as much as as much as a Leona Lewis, like Adele. Put any singer in there, or put any rapper in there. I don't think he cares. Childish Gambino, when he was doing songs like 3005 and stuff, he cared. So what? I just don't get. There's a disconnect, and maybe I'm being unfair, but that's
I get you completely. I mean, this is why I gave you this album, right? Because I know that we talked about, if you're reading this, it's too late. I wondered if you would have. There's two reasons I gave you this album. One, because this aged very, very well for me, right? Like, you talked about it could be dropped. It could drop yesterday. It still sound great. Yeah, the production is amazing, right? This also aged just in terms of even how I kind of view Drake on this album as well, right? Because I think, recently some of his newer material I've been a bit hit and miss with it, that he's almost just become this thing that makes music, and kind of churns it out. When I go and listen, maybe it's just in comparison to that, when I go back and listen to this, and that weekend when, my boys were around and we talked about it a lot, I had been meaning to go back and listen to this album again, just properly, since it first came out. Because, I mean, I listened to a lot of the songs on this when it first came out, because Drake was like peak at that time. It was like peak Drake. But I kept meaning to go back and listen now, like fresh ears, right? And finally did. And I think it's in the comparison to his newer stuff, I was hearing this kind of different side to him. I was hearing it a bit more fresh, away from the hype and everything. And it really aged, and it kind of really hit me a bit better, like the vibes and stuff. Criticisms are still there, though. That's also aged. That's also aged well, right? The critical parts of it. Because as much as I actually really, really like this album now, just as something I find fun to just put on and listen to, just some good hip hop songs, just some good summer songs and whatever. And you're right, it flows nicely as well, right? But there's a couple things about this album that I just, when it first came out, there was a lot of hype. I said this before, he announced the name like 2 years prior, and it's kind of, this was the big, if you're reading this was a mixtape, it was more fun. This is like the next proper Drake album. What's it going to do? Where's it going to take us? We see the 20-song track list, and we're thinking, even back then, I'm thinking, I don't know. Like, do we need that? And
you could have cut this album down to 13, 12 songs.
For sure. You definitely could have cut it down. that's what I used to do. I used to have a playlist with just my favorite songs from here, and it used to actually bring you into the world a little bit more, right? So actually, a lot of the time, less is more in the case when it comes to albums and music and stuff. And I remember, I think I've said this before, I really like to keep the family close. I get your criticisms of it though, but there's something about it that hits a certain nerve for me, and it could just be nostalgia. It could be. And it could be that I've not really heard that kind of Drake before when I first heard this. I do get it though, because I don't get why he goes off into this whole, it's like the one time, that one car when, was it Chrysler made the Bentley that just, no, what was it? Chrysler made that one car that felt just like the Bentley. And it's just like, what? What are you talking about? Like, why did you go off on this little side tangent about that? And how is that really that relatable? There's certain things, there's this mixed bag of lyrics, like you've said, right? Where in 1 second he'll talk about, I really have to take to it, but they still take to it. Or, I got on the, I've been underground on the metro and I got the metro booming, right? As in, for the producer, right? Cool stuff like that. But then he'll say, I get green like Earth Day. You toying with it like Happy Meal. Got so many chains, they call me Chaining Tatum. And you think Drake.
It's not even good.
It's not.
Even average dons like myself could come up with that.
Right, and you'd think, oh, that's funny. We'd laugh about it. We joke about it, right? Yeah, be like, oh, imagine if you said that.
And then, like, but your mates would be like,
we're not going to record it.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah. This is the problem with having, like, yes men and stuff. I'm just wondering who's in the... You seen that video with J. Cole when he's making the Power Trip beat and his friends are gassing them up so much over the smallest fucking things. Yep. I love that song. I love J. Cole. I love his production style. But oh my days, if that is not an example of people wanting, like, fighting so that they can stay around you.
Exactly. It's cancer. That's the industry though. And that
exactly.
That
it's unfortunate.
You could listen to DMX's, like, he does it as a poem. Like, he's like, the industry. Oh boy. Listen to that.
Check it out.
This is why he hates, like, this is why he doesn't like Drake. Yeah, straight up. He just see through him. And this is why, like, dude, this is why I said he's everything wrong with the industry. I know it's strong, but I stand by it. Drake, thing is, we shouldn't celebrate people like, oh, and here's another thing that he said as well, and I missed it in my analysis. Sorry.
No, go on.
He said that he wanted to be big like MJ. Oh, I even wrote it down.
Oh, this ties into I was going to bring MJ up at a later point as well.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, upside down it says 9 now. What a dick.
Did he say that on that song?
Oh no. But I just got I just read, like, one of the notes and I was just like, ugh, 6 upside down, it's a 9 now. Fuck off. Swear that I wrote that down. Oh, right.
What, the biggest MJ thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really sad. Like, I could have sworn I did it. That's really weird. Maybe I'm getting Alzheimer's or something. Here we go. No, it's on it's on 9.
It's on 9.
Want to do major things, MJ in every way.
Oh yeah.
So
that's also when he says keychain go dang-a-ling. I'm just like, why would you say that? So why?
Okay.
You're a grown man. Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So let's sort of, like, unpick that. All right, just a little bit. So MJ was kind of we've spoken about it, right? He physically embodied, like, music, the way he moved, beatbox, the way he was in the inner workings of every single song, just with the way that he would do his little whatever he would do. All right, he was brilliant, but he was also altruistic. He also gave to charity and stuff like that. Yeah, I know that there are tax breaks and stuff like that come with giving to charity. Money begets money. Yeah, blah 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 blah. But anyway, was a generous dude, right? But he also spoke to every fan. Didn't just like Michael Jackson. I don't think you rarely got, like, people that were like, yeah, he's okay, like mediocre fans. It was an intense love because he spoke directly he spoke to people. It felt like when he was singing, he's talking to you. Like, one of my favorite.
He's talking to your spirit. It's not even just you. It's like the deeper you. Absolutely. Your higher self.
Man in the Mirror is one of the most honest songs that I grew up with. I could not I cannot tell you, like it reminds me of a time when magic existed in the world. Like the end, the end
same.
minute and a half of that song is one
That's
of my
heaven, right? Like up on clouds, angels singing. That was what.
It's one of the best songs ever made. I think. I think it's that good. All right. But with all of his albums, there was always a message, and that message was, predominantly like love and
companionship. That peace and love shit. Yeah,
there was a lot of that, but it appeals to your higher sense of self, not about the tangibles, not about the money, not about like fame and cars and this and that. It was always something higher, about family, or they don't care about us. Like Scream, what a song! You never thought that he could do a song like that. My goodness, one of it's a special song.
That whole History album, like, mate, who would have thought? There's like one love song on the entire fucking thing, and You Are Not Alone. That's it.
Written by R. Kelly, I think.
About a 12-year-old girl. Which I hope. I just say that I don't think MJ knew that, right? Because he's got his wife in the video though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Lisa Marie. Yeah.
So that's how I see it.
Yeah, fair enough. But what I'm saying, when we agree, Michael Jackson was massive. He was huge. He influenced. He started the MTV generation. He influenced like how Usher, Justin Timberlake, like dons like that. They were top of the ladder when it came to like dancing and stuff. But MJ was the progenitor. And then obviously, you can go back, James Brown and, the guy that did the moonwalk on Soul Train.
Yeah.
So, it comes from somewhere. Anyway, Michael Jackson transcended music.
Yeah.
Drake is locked into music because he's a slave to the money. He's just in that musical box. He will never be a humanitarian. He'll never be somebody that speaks to the higher self because he's got no higher self. What are you talking about? I got a Bugatti. Do you remember when we went spinning around in a Bugatti or something? What? No, dude. Who's got money to do that? Tell me. How many? What's the percentage of people?
Well. That song, I'm glad you said all this stuff, the MJ thing and that Bugatti thing, because again, it ties into these things that I have big issues with.
Sorry, bro. I didn't mean to spoil you.
No. You've added. It's like good starting context, right? So, what was I saying? I was saying about this, like, just starting off. I do really like this album. Like I've said, it's grown on me, and it's got some good tunes, like really good songs on it, well produced for me. Right, right. You can put it that way. And Drake, I guess, even for my generation, there's something about kind of when you hear Drake and when he does the kind of vibey songs like Fire and Desire and stuff, and it hits you because we were young when we heard these kind of songs, and they hit us at uni when we were going through certain things. I remember really realizing how much I connected to Drake, his music, when I was at uni, and a lot of girl trouble arises. Suddenly that stuff started to hit a bit more. Whereas I used to only really like rapper Drake at first.
Fair play, dude. Yeah.
Then this stuff started to hit me because again, it was like, once you start to experience it, you're just like, oh shit, okay. And he just happened to be my generation's kind of soundtrack for that.
That's it.
Right. Yeah. So again, I don't know if it's the nostalgia thing that's pulling me in and giving him that that due, even though I'm very aware of these things that you said about it, and I get them, right? I'm very aware of it as I'm listening, but there's like there's something else that makes me kind of look past them just for the enjoyment, right? I'm not breaking this down as like, this is not a classic. This is not a kind of shifting the culture type project. This is not a top 10, 5, 15 album of all time, even hip hop album. It's just not. To me, it's become a enjoyable album for me. I wondered if I gave this to you, if you would have felt a bit differently compared to if you're reading this, it's too late. And it's really interesting to me that when you listen to this, you're still hearing the same thing, right? Because actually it's like, you're right. Because the points that you bring up are things I take for granted, like the fact that he's so vague and he only gives you little surface level insights into his life. And he does it when he disses other rappers. He does little subliminal shots. He doesn't come out of the gate. And I think that's his way of protecting himself. Now, I don't know if this is a personal thing of his where he he's like this in person. Maybe he's like that in person. Maybe he's just one of those guys who feels very guarded because of things that have happened to him in his life. I don't know. Again, how could I know? Because he doesn't show any of it in his music, right? Now, one of my criticisms with this album is we talked about how it flows. The problem is that he went and did an interview with Zane Lowe and talked about how hard he worked on this album and how much he was into it, how he was going in, changing lyrics and doing this and doing that. And I'm like, okay, damn, okay, maybe I'll go listen to it again, you know, because when I first heard it, it was very rocky. I liked the first song. Second song, I was like, this is the first rap song now. The first song got me ready. I've been for a while. 9 comes in and I'm like, I wanted this to hit me. I really so badly wanted this to hit. It's not a good sign. The second song on your album is making me be like, you with me though? One of my favorite Drake songs. One of favorite just songs in general. I just love that song, right? It's so well put together. The beat is like, the music is dynamic. He changes with the beat so effortlessly. And when he does that singing part at the end, you know, a lot of people cut the check as they can get, cut the check so they can take this flow. There's something like that. He actually, for once, sounds like he's got some actual passion and grit. Like he's got some actual emotion in it, and he's actually singing his heart out for once. That's what it sounds like. I think that's why that song kind of resonates with me, because it feels like this is the closest I'm going to get to you as a person, Drake. Right? Feel No Ways. Back in the day, I was like, it's cool. Hype. It's cool. Western Road Flowed. Sick. Redemption. With You grew on me after a while because it was summertime during the time. Faithful grew on me a little bit. Still Here, okay. Banger for the gym, cool. Controller, One Dance, heard it all before. It was good. Grammys, didn't really like that. Child's Play was cool, didn't really like that. Pop Style, boring as fuck. And he released it as a single with Kanye and Jay-Z. I don't know why he didn't put that version on here. That was way more interesting, right?
Yeah, but he was the weakest part on that. But anyway.
Maybe that's what it was. He explained it in the interview. I just didn't really care. Too Good, great tune. Summer's Over interlude. This is what I was referring to on the If You're Reading This review, where I said one of my mates, you know, he said it was a sad kind of turn of events that the best song didn't even have Drake on it. This was the song I was referring to, right? Because he's not even on it, right? Fire and Desire, yep, that hit me at the time, and it still does. Views, actually, back in the day, I thought it was meh, right? It's only kind of grew on me now.
Yeah, fair enough. It's the only one that grabbed my head like straight away and was just like, you listen to me.
It's weird though. He always caps off his albums with these kind of songs, you know. So at the end of Nothing Was the Same was Pound Cake. Then there was the 6 p.m. in New York at the end of the one before this, and then now it's Views. He always has that rap song, right, to cap it off at the end. And it's like, bruv, just give us this all the time.
Just be a rapper. Just be a rapper.
Because he could really excel at that, right? Now,
I think so.
The problem is, another thing that he said in that interview was that the concept for this album is Toronto has, you know, very deep winters, harsh, you know, big summers, and then you can really see the seasonal changes. And this is called Views, right? And it's originally meant to be Views from the 6. And then that tower, I don't know what it's called, is on the front cover, and he's photoshopped on there. And, you know, it's like the whole album is meant to kind of showcase that. Cool. Great idea. The whole album does flow. Problem is, why is Feel No Ways the 4th track? Why is With You? Why is Still Here put in there almost like as the summer part of the album is getting into its full swing? Why the fuck no, that doesn't belong there. Why is Pop Style in between Child's Play and Too Good? In what universe is that representing summer in Toronto? Put it later, because it goes to the darker winters. It's just, I don't know if the label has much sway with Drake. Like, I don't know if they let him do. But no, Drake's such a big artist. I wonder if they just let him do what he wants because they know that it will sell. You know what I mean?
But I think it's the same with like films and stuff where you get executive committees like doing films. That's why the latest Star Wars trilogy has been a hot mess. Like,
right, because they come in and start messing things up because they're like fan service stuff, right?
Yeah, like you need the same director for a trilogy. What do you mean J.J. Abrams is doing Force Awakens, and then Rian Johnson is doing the Last Jedi, and then JJ's back? You're like, for the last.
How'd you get continue? Yeah,
there's no continuity there because like
continuity. That's it. Yeah.
You know, people try and say that like you know, oh well, the Star Wars, you know, it's a multi-billion-dollar, you know, franchise, and you know, maybe it's just not made for you anymore. I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah,
Hold on, just as a side tangent, right?
Yeah.
Listen to me, right? Star Wars is it's like a kid's film, right? But it has layers. What do you
of
mean?
course.
Luke Skywalker has the choice to fight his father in the presence of his father's master, and basically there is a choice of do not kill your dad and die, but then he wins morally because he doesn't fall to the dark side. But if he kills his dad, he becomes the new Darth Vader and falls to the dark side. That basically, either way you die, you just choose which way. That is thematically very, very heavy, and that's a kid's movie. So you can't tell me you can't layer nuance with like the new Star Wars trilogy. Anyway, I tapped out after Last Jedi. I haven't seen the newest one. I won't see it again. I won't see what is it called? Rise of Skywalker.
That's it. I was trying to think what was the last one called. Yeah, I couldn't even remember.
Done with that. Like you know, whatever. But
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
There's a correlation between like this is where we are. Like everything's done by committee. I do think that you know, albums are. I do think that maybe artists aren't given as much freedom as maybe we even think, because he wasn't as big as he is now in 2016. He was big, like don't get me wrong, but not he was as big really as he is now, right?
Yeah,
maybe
that's what I wonder, because there's either two ways for me to look at this in terms of that concept thing, because I just don't get that it's like one of those weird small disconnects that I just can't put together in my head, because I'm like, Drake, I'm an artist as well, like I just don't understand. It actually would have been better if you just didn't say anything, if you didn't even mention the concept, because then I wouldn't have looked at it.
I didn't know like that because I thought that it was very much like I think that it was quite a nice like shift in beats and dynamic and stuff like throughout. But now I'm never going to listen to this again, right? But now that you say that, if I do listen to it again, I will have that in my mind. Yeah, I won't forget that, and it'll be. But this is another failure of him then, as an artist, as a curator of one's own music. Like, if you've got no say and you've got this amazing concept for an album where it shows, you know, autumn, winter, spring, summer. My goodness, that's fantastic. You don't need 20 songs to do that. You can do that in 12 if you're good.
Well, Lupe Fiasco did it in like what 15 on Tetsuo and Youth. He did the exact same concept. Yeah,
I thought it was even shorter than that. But yeah,
it might have been shorter. Yeah, that was like a seasonal change. It was no. It's because it had long songs on there.
Well, anyway, we should do Lupe Fiasco.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, but
anyway,
you're right. With this, it's like watching a trailer for a film and it making you think it's one thing, and then you go and see the film and you're like, this is not what I got, and what I got was not like better than what I, you know.
It's Godzilla 2014. Okay. Amazing trailers, bro. Like the Halo jump, high altitude, low opening
remember
jump.
Watching. Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
I've seen the movie, but not the trailers. I didn't watch the trailers.
The trailer, or oh my gosh, Age of Ultron.
Oh, okay.
Right. The advert for Age of Ultron was the best advert Marvel ever put out. Marvel never done a better trailer than that. I saw the film and I was like, this is a hot mess.
Right, exactly. It's like,
this is what this album is. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's like you're going in now with this extra kind of thing of, oh, okay, I'll listen out for that. But now that I'm listening out for it, I've realized that you haven't stuck to it. And it makes me it devalues the work, because I'm thinking there's two ways. It's either you as an artist thought, okay, this is a long album, I don't know which songs to cut, and I'm trying to, you know, execute this concept, but I'm worried that maybe some listeners might tap out or something. And I really like the song Feel No Ways, for example. I might just push that a bit further up the track list, or, you know, I might put this one a bit later, I might put this one a bit higher so that people will hear it more likely to hear it. It could be that. I hope it's not that, because you need to stick to your guns if you're going to, you know, bring out a concept like this. Otherwise, don't do the concept album thing. Don't go into your interviews trying to make it seem like it's bigger than it is, right? When you haven't even executed it right. Or the labels are saying, okay, Drake, this is a long album. We've already released One Dance and Controller. So they're fine in the middle. We've released Pop okay towards the end. People are going to jump to the Rihanna track anyway, because they see her name on it. Maybe some of these songs you should put them a bit higher up and this and that, because then they'll get more streams and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it's an executive decision.
It could be that, right? Now, in one scenario, it's maybe tougher for him to fight his corner, because they could easily, if he's signed into a contract, he could easily be blocked from, putting out an album. That happens to a lot of big artists. If it's an artistic thing, then it's like, this shows that you don't have that much faith in your own kind of art. If you're then saying, I don't know, man, I'll just mess around with it. I'll just say there's a concept. Maybe people will just believe me. It's like, bro, we all hear the album. We've all heard it. Yeah. We can hear that you didn't execute it properly. Because why the fuck does Feel No Ways come in and then it goes to Hype and Western Road Flows? Why if you didn't say that, I would have just been like, okay, cool. It's just a collection of cool songs and there's a bunch of different vibes and you've made them all sync in with each other. Sick. Now that you've mentioned the concept and that's what you were going for, changes everything. For me, at least. I mean, it does change it for me, right? We've already talked about lyrics, bit of a mixed bag,
Yeah, for me, I'm a lot harsher on him than maybe you are. Like,
for me,
yeah,
for me, I let certain things go because
I can't.
I like the stylistic kind of approach he takes to some of it, the way he raps the lyrics and stuff. And to me, it's just like, it's cool. If I'm at the gym, I don't care as much. I mean, don't get me wrong, good lyrics on like a good gym song make it even better because you take that in and you feel it. And it's like someone's actually motivating you and talking to you. Songs like this are like where it's just, you're just flexing, I'm just done with the hype and I'm this and that. And you're just saying, I'm light like Michael, but I'm still black. And it's just like, okay, cool. I can use the energy when I'm at the gym or when I'm in the car. I get with the energy. If I'm going to critique it as a piece of art, then okay, you're going to be put under way more scrutiny. Don't come out here acting like you're a lyricist when we put your lyrics under a fine-tooth comb, they don't hold up.
They don't hold up to anything worth note, dude. He's not special. He's average.
I agree with you, right? Now, you'll see loads of people on Twitter, and especially younger people, because I think, and also the Drake fans that are not hip hop fans, because to them, this probably is special because they don't listen to anything else that sounds like this, right? Whereas when you're in hip hop, what I don't get is the people in hip hop who say that he is like this super special out of the box lyricist, because he's not. He has quotables, great.
That's it. He's just punchlines. That's it.
That's it, right? But it's getting to a point now that even people can predict what punchlines he can even make. Like that thing about Rihanna and A$AP Rocky being spotted out like on a night out. That's just something I say. People are already making jokes about this next Drake album's going to be fucking classic, bro. He's going to really get into his feelings, right? About that. And they're already making lyrics like, oh, I had to leave the situation ASAP before the shit got rocky. Things like that. I don't want to get cocky. Had to leave it ASAP before things got rocky. It's like we can already like almost predict your blueprint for how you're going to write your lyrics, right? And it's like that's the whole point of evolving, staying a step ahead. Not showing that we could write the songs for you. Not saying that we could, but
Yeah, KaeDee, you definitely could. You could listen. You spoke about like he got accused of having ghostwriters and people writing his lyrics and stuff like that. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the concept if the concept was really to show the views from the six and the changing weather patterns and the changing times of year.
Sounds so lame when you say it like that.
Yeah,
this album is about the changing weather patterns.
Yeah, that's it. It sounds lame because Drake is lame. Sorry to break it to you fans. I do not like him. Anyway, the thing is, if the concept wasn't allowed to continue to fruition, it doesn't surprise me that he would have ghostwriters and stuff like that. If he's going to let people block his artistic vision, you reckon any record label would have told Prince like, no, you can't do that? reckon anyone
Right.
would have done that? Or
No,
Michael
exactly.
Jackson? You're telling me that you want to be like on the rise like MJ and stuff. Okay, prove it. Put your money
Yeah.
where your mouth is. But you haven't. You folded and he bent over and he just allowed it. Sorry, he rolled over and he just allowed his little belly to be tickled with all that money that he's going to be making. No, dude, Drake.
No, it's just the way you say it.
Oh, mate, he's just. No, I can't have him.
I'm
Anyway.
glad you mentioned the MJ thing, right? Because that brings me to my next point, which is some of the, we always talk about like the sus activities of his, right? In terms of the decisions that he makes and things like that.
Yeah,
and all these conversations about, is he a culture vulture? You know, his cultural appropriation thing. And, but he makes bangers though, you know, why do you care so much? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I thought about this more and I realized that there's certain things that he does which show that he's more of a culture vulture in a more sinister way. And, you know, yeah, for me, I realized it and it's in his use because he's done it twice now. It's in his use of using dead people on his songs. So on Faithful, he's got Pimp C, who's dead, right? He uses, you're on mute, by the way. I don't know if you know that. Okay, cool. Okay, I didn't know if you were trying to say something. But yeah, so Pimp C is dead. He uses him on the song Faithful. Pimp C sounds great on that.
I
great
wanted
on that
to
beat.
bring that up as well. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Yeah,
for sure. He sounds really good on that, right?
Yeah, he does.
But there's a few issues. One, what he's talking about really doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the song. It's just kind of put in there. He says at the end of his verse, I don't rap with anyone in this shit but Bun, as in Bun B. Now, Pimp C was very outspoken when he was alive, even about artists that he had worked with. So on International Players Anthem, he was very critical, apparently, of Andre 3000 taking that whole intro part and not actually having the beat in there, just the sample looping. Because the beat only comes in when Pimp C does his part. And he was very vocal about how he wasn't, you know, riding with that. And I think it took a bit of convincing for him. Like, no, it works well with the song. I think it works well with the song. But this shows what Pimp C was like. I have a hard time thinking that he would have jumped on a song with Drake or this type of song, right? Because then there's no mention of him, I don't think, anywhere later in that song or anything he talked about. He's just randomly put there at the beginning. And it's almost for clout. Like, I have a song with Pimp C.
That's it. Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
It's funny that comes up because I was listening to, this is how you know Google is listening, but like I was typing in like the lyrics to the song into Google in my phone, and then I was on YouTube like a few hours later and Pimp C came up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was about like the news surrounding his death and all of that stuff. Like, you know, it was a bit suspect. But yeah, I think that you're right, man. Like, I don't really think Pimp C would ever have gone on a Drake track, especially that one.
Especially that one. And why not get Bun B on the song as well? That might have made more sense. Like, then you can say I've got a UGK feature because them two is a duo, for those who don't know. And do you know, when I first heard this, I didn't think about it that hard. I thought about it and I thought, that's a bit weird, right? Especially the fact that he says, I don't rap with anyone in this shit but Bun.
Yeah, but you've rapped with Jay-Z though.
And then, no, as in Pimp C says that, right?
Pardon me. Yeah.
Oh, unless you mean because they did that Big Pimpin' song, right? Yeah. I mean, I guess when he's like, it's just that typical kind of, that's my boy, you know, it's me, him, no one else, right?
And UGK lit, but yeah.
But then suddenly you come in, as in Drake, like right after that. It's just these weird decisions that they've made where I just think, so did you even listen to his verse? Or did you just put it on there?
Agreed.
You know? Like, that's what I think. I think, like, I would have found that so weird. Like, maybe let's not use this verse. Doesn't sit right. Now, do you know what made it worse? Is on his next album. I think some people who know me, who listen to this, they're going to know where I'm going with this. He has a song with MJ on there. Now, he doesn't really have a song with MJ. MJ is featured on the song. I don't know if you've heard it. But
No, because that would be blasphemy.
No, I'm telling you, there's no point listening to it. Don't listen to it. Right now, the reason for it is because it really, really rubs me the wrong way. Like, really, not even just because, yes, I'm a huge MJ fan, and it kind of hurts to hear that song, because I don't care how much of a banger it is. I don't care how much of a vibe it is. It's a good tune, I guess. If you got like The Weeknd on it, cool, right? It would have been just a good kind of summer tune. Weeknd's sick, but yeah.
Another mediocre Don, but anyway, go on.
Nah, you're slipping on that one. But yeah, sorry,
give me a real manly singer. Give me a real manly. Give me Luther. Give me anybody else.
What does manly even mean, bruv? What does manly even mean, bruv? But yeah, anyways, we're not going to get into that discussion. But now, this Drake MJ song, I remember hearing it and thinking, bruv, of all the MJ like this, and the MJ's estate is also at fault for this as well, for even handing these over. I don't know what happened. I don't know whether he was given a bunch to kind of, listen to and choose, but there must have been something better than that, because what that sounds like, the hook in that song, which is MJ's voice, sounds like a demo that he recorded when he wasn't as on point as he was in the peak of his career, when he's got that kind of, it's weird, as an MJ fan you can tell that that's during his kind of drug phase, right? Same with Eminem, you can tell when he recorded verses during his drug phase. You can hear the slurs and the voice that sounds like he's not really there in his body when he's doing it, right? You have that a bit with MJ, and it's almost like he's struggling a little bit, not struggling, but it's just like a demo verse he probably didn't intend for anyone to hear. And now it's been put on this song. Yeah. Now it's been thrown onto this song. Has no real bearing with the rest of the song. Heavily processed. MJ's vocals were rarely heavily processed, right? So it sounds really lifeless and really just kind of, oh man, it's just
dead, just like Drake's back catalogue. Absolutely dead music, dead, soulless cash grab money. This isn't what it is, KaeDee. Join me.
I'm going to say it for these examples, yeah, but I don't know about the whole back catalog thing. But with this song, that's when it really hits me. When I was listening back to this album, Views, and I thought about this other MJ song and then this Pimp C song, and I was thinking, nah, okay, I don't know how people can defend this part though, because that whole thing about, oh, is he a bit of a culture vulture? Oh, but he makes bangers though, and then we brush it under the rug because he does. We talked about this last week. Someone does something well, you start to receive them a little bit better, and you kind of look over certain things that they have. It's just the complexity of your mind and whatever. This stuff is way more sinister because you're involving someone else who's not here to vouch for their kind of their art and their intellectual property, and you're just kind of using them to almost say, look, I have a song with Michael Jackson. No, you fucking don't. I'm sure MJ would have done a song with you, right? I'm sure he would have. I'm pretty sure he would have. Look, MJ's a nicer guy than you, right? But MJ, I'm sure MJ would have heard Drake and been like, he's doing some cool things. If he wants to do on a song, if it works, it works. He would have done it, right? I'm sure he would have. Now, this though is, even thinking about it, it's just, and then after that MJ documentary came out, suddenly Drake dropped the song from his set list. And now but then later on, he was like dressed up as in a Thriller jacket for Halloween, when suddenly that kind of the buzz from that documentary died down and people were actually kind of nitpicking it and saying that actually maybe it's a bit bullshit. So it's like, okay, where do you actually stand on this? And this is the thing, especially with MJ. Drake, I've seen interviews where someone's handed you a plaque or like a big magazine cutout of MJ when he was like, 5 or 6 years old, and it's like a magazine from that time, and it's got that iconic picture of MJ, as a little kid with the afro and everything, and he's like the one to watch, and you're like gushing over it, like, this is the guy, this is the guy, why I even do this in the first place, blah blah blah. MJ set the blueprint. MJ set the fucking doors open for people like you to come in and do your thing, and this is how you fucking treat him. I'm really not trying not to get into that David bag here, but the
Join us.
I'm trying not to go David mode here, but bruv,
let the hate flow through you.
Bruv, you're actually tempting me because the disrespect.
It's disgusting.
Saying it out loud makes it even more kind of like I'm obviously gonna go right. I'm riding for MJ over Drake any day, of course, right?
Is that even a question?
It's not a question. So for me, it's like that really soured me on Drake. I mean, I didn't like the Scorpion album to begin with, and then when I heard that song, that was like the kick for me, where it was like, I don't really know you. I can't really. At first, I was kind of riding with you, and your music was holding up for me, and it was soundtracking my life. Now it's a bit like, you know, when you become a bit older and you get a bit jaded by the people you thought were kind of, you know, that uncle that you looked up to in your life, and then you grow up and you see him as more of a human being, and you think you see different parts of him, and you're like, I don't know about you now. I don't know. You're you know, you become a bit jaded. That's how I feel a bit now with Drake. It was like I couldn't place him now. Like he was doing too many suspect moves, and this was like the ultimate disrespect for me.
Yeah.
How the like with Pimp C it was bad enough, but how the fuck for someone like Michael, who really came up through some of the hardest times for black people as well in the industry, and open those fucking doors for people like you to come in and dominate the industry.
He didn't just open them though, did he? He just blew them wide open.
He blew them wide open, and he set the fucking benchmark, right? MJ was the one, when you look at those charts, you know, where it does like a time lapse over the years of popular artists. His picture is always there. It might go down a little bit during certain years. It's always there, right? That is him dominating. That's what you're trying to do. And that's what you think you're doing, which you're doing at this level on this mainstream kind of, you know, playing field right now.
You never do it.
Cool.
History will forget Drake quicker than it will forget MJ.
I don't think history will ever forget MJ, right? Until the sun kind of eats the earth and all that sort of shit. But like the
55 million years and counting.
Right. Yeah. But my problem with this is like, look, I know it sounds weird to say that I'm still a big Drake fan, still a big fan of this album and all that sort of stuff. But I have to be critical where it's I'm not going to sit here and just be like, Drake, man, fucking sick. It's not interesting, right? I'm going to go into the topic that a lot of people just don't seem to want to go into, right? Coming from a Drake fan, a big Drake fan, that was disrespect to some of the highest level, right?
So, bro, this just makes me hate him even more. He's got no respect for his forebears. He's got no respect for his forebears. I think that's the thing is, right? There are ways to do this kind of thing. If you're going to feature a dead artist, Exhibit
like
A.
Stuff. Yeah.
Exhibit A. Tupac on Kendrick Lamar's album. What a great idea that was. It was respectful.
So beautifully done, right?
It was really, really nice. It was seamless. And it was like, oh, wow. Actually, that's brought a whole new sort of dynamic. It's the forefather speaking to, his long lost sort of, ancient relative. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was and also the fact that came out in 2015 and that interview was from like 1997.
Absolutely.
And how relevant it was.
And that is one of the saddest tragedies of Western society. The fact that Tupac was saying that then, and this, the fact that it's so relevant, 2021.
Yeah,
unbelievable. But anyway, separate argument.
Yeah,
but I think that there
Kendrick
are ways,
did that beautifully, right?
And it was lovely, and it was actually quite sad because we all, again, we've all lost people. Like we all want to have that conversation, and when like he just goes, he said his piece and he's off. It's like, like you actually felt the loss again.
When he said like, is at the end, like Pike, because he wants to hear his opinion, and then he's gone.
He's gone, and it's like, I've lost him again, and
that's the last word on that whole album, right?
Absolutely, and there are ways to do that, but just to sort of add Michael Jackson to the sort of back cacophony of, I haven't heard the song. I'm not going to listen to the song.
He's just on the hook. They basically just caught him on the hook, and that's it. They say he's the main vocal on the hook, but his voice is not up to par. It doesn't add much. It sounds like those songs, where I don't know what kind of genre it is, but those kind of songs that are like they get played in like summertime. They're like big kind of club songs, and they basically will take like a couple lines from like an old school song and just repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
You know that, and it's just they're just like the dance remix or something, right?
Sure.
It's the equivalent of taking like that. That's what it sounds like. It's like when I first heard it, I wasn't looking at the track list. I knew MJ was on the track, on the album somewhere, and I was walking to work, and the album was just playing, so I wasn't looking at the track list. And so when I heard the voice come in, I almost thought it was The Weeknd at first, right? Because of the way it was sung.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh wait, shit, no, MJ's on this album, not The Weeknd. This must be the song, right? I must have gotten to that song. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
And then did you like crush your phone in your hand, look up at the sky, and go,
Yeah, why Drake? Why?
why have you done this? Honestly, listen, all I've got to say is
Join the dark side. Do it. Join us. Let the hate flow through you.
No time for hate. No time for hate.
I've got plenty of time for it.
No, I need Drake to repent for his sins and just
I need Drake never to make music again.
Well, for me, I was going to say make better music. That's how you'll repent for your sins.
Actually, that's a good point. He's got the ability, as I've said.
Yeah.
Oh man, I could. Do you know what?
I wasn't expecting it to go like this. I thought I was going to bring some balance, and actually, that last bit kind of has turned the tides. Fuck.
You were the chosen one, Anakin. You were.
I was telling my friends, I was like, oh, you know, I gave gave David another Drake album, right? He's gonna fucking love this shit. And you know, knowing full well, it'll be a bit more of a complex conversation, right? And I was like, Dora, I'm gonna provide some balance, right? And it hasn't really happened. Because adding to that kind of suspect stuff, you know, we talk about the song Child's Play.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed at how many people, like, I know not everyone listens to lyrics when they listen to songs and stuff, and you know, it's just cool, whatever, you know, you like the vibe, whatever. It's just there's certain things that Drake says that are so weirdly specific, and you just think, why did you say that? Because if anyone else said that or exhibited that kind of behavior, we'd be like, nah, sorry, get out of my house. You know,
because he's like R. Kelly, isn't he? Like,
I knew you were going to say that, and that's what I was going to bring up.
Of the young girls and stuff. Like, I saw it on stage. It was just like, oh, she's like, I don't know, 15 or something. It's like he's still going now. Maybe 17. I don't know.
How old was he then, though? Because I remember watching that video and thinking,
well, he's in his 20s.
Was he in his 20s?
Late 20s? I think so. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. That's sus then. Well,
she's underage, man. Anything less than 18 is just...
Yeah, I know. I'm not just about. I just, you know, I want to not make it seem like it's like he's a 35-year-old man going for like this 15-year-old girl.
No. This was a good. I think this was maybe late 20s. Anyway, old enough to know better. Like,
yeah. Okay, that's because that's the thing, right? You know, if you're old enough to know better, then it's because. And this is the thing, in the Child's Play song, he's talking about, and I didn't even clock this as well, because I don't know, like, in the UK, they don't call things, like, I don't know, like, things like Kotex and stuff like that. Those are like, so do you know what that is? No, like, judging by your face, right? I don't think that's a UK thing, right? It's like, I don't even know what it is. It's like period pads or something, but in the US. And so I wouldn't have clocked that. So when he says, you know, you took my car to go and get Kotex, that's just flying over my head. I have no idea what he's talking about, right? The song is, in that first verse especially, is him talking about how he does. It's just so weird because it's like when you break it down, he's basically chastising this girl, saying she's acting like a child because you took my car and you went and got period pads. And so now that's why I hid the keys from you. And that's why we've been arguing. And I hid the keys from you so you don't take the Bentley out again or something like that. And it's like, what? What's wrong with this girl that you've taken into your home, presumably, right?
Sounds like you're keeping a prisoner.
Yeah, you're not okay with her just taking the car to go get some period pads? It's not like she's going out and, you know, taking all her friends around and getting drunk and all that sort of stuff. Your specific example was going to the store to get period pads, or you say Kotex, right? And now you're doing this really passive aggressive thing where you hide the keys from her. And then you say, don't make me take you back to the hood. How fucking classist or elitist is that? And imagine I think when I was watching the Needle Drops review of this album, he said something along the lines of, and credit to Dead End Hip Hop as well for illuminating me to this fact because they're American, right? So they explained what that song, well, the guy Mike Seatown explained what this song was about. I didn't notice until I like read the lyrics again. I was like, the fuck? That's so weirdly specific. And the way the Needle Drop put it, Anthony Fantano, he said, imagine an old white like millionaire who takes in, you know, this young girl, like this young hot girl from the ghetto or whatever, and then kind of chastises her. Imagine a reality TV show where you're seeing like, oh, rich white man with, you know, some young black girl, right, from the ghetto. And then he gets annoyed at her kind of what he perceives as ghetto mannerisms and kind of ghetto behavior, you know, taking the keys and going out to get period pads and doing this and fighting with me at Cheesecake Factory and stuff like that. And it's just like, see, we'd all look at that and be like, oh, this guy, how out of touch is he? How fucking weird is this guy? Oh, you know, so classist, so elitist. Drake does it.
Drake, yeah.
Because it's Drake and it's got a nice beat behind it. Because the beat is nice.
Well, let's be real. By that time, like it completely glossed. I glossed over that because I was just like in the album. I was like, this is another pile of crap.
Same with me. Like when I first heard it, this is like what, track number 16 or something.
Yeah,
so at this point, I'm just like, it's just it became background music for me when I first heard it. This time, it's like, this song and Pop Style, like I could do without them. This time, like, you know, I talk about albums having like their own vibe, their own story, their own atmosphere, and you kind of get. I love albums where you get caught into that, like Music for My Friends. He builds a whole movie, like a whole story.
Absolutely,
you kind of want to stay in it. You don't want to move out and listen to something else.
The album cover helps as well.
The album cover definitely helps, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Now, this album is so close to doing that for me because it does contain a consistent vibe and it does the whole seasonal change thing. Not, you know, it doesn't execute it properly. It keeps me in the vibe sometimes. A lot of the times I do find myself kind of just then, if I'm not in the mood, skip through, right? And just be like, actually, I just want to hear that. I want to hear Still Here because I just want to hear that. I've got a small journey to the shop. I just want to hear that song, right? For example. Or Grammys. I actually really like Grammys now. I just love the beat. I love the beat and I love the way they rap over it. And yeah, I like the beat switch and the way Future does his thing. I'm just into that, right? I just like the aesthetic of it. But yeah, it's these weird. There's so many weird fucking choices that Drake makes, and I don't get it. I just don't get it.
And you're not gonna get it because he probably changed them for really superficial reasons because he's a superficial don. Genuinely, I don't think that there's a bigger conspiracy here. It's like, well, you know, I changed it. I made that, you know, weird choice because I felt like it, or because somebody told me to. He doesn't strike me as somebody that cares enough.
Yeah, this is the thing
as well. He doesn't.
I always get this feeling that he does care about his craft and stuff. Because I've been listening to him since the mixtape days, right? That was a different Drake, right? I've still felt that Drake throughout up to this point. Up to this album is actually when I really felt like it was at its like peak. Like he really felt like he needed to prove something. The weird thing is, it's just that it fell flat, and some of the reasons are weird, really weird choices that he made. Whereas, like, bruv, you could have avoided that, and
he could have avoided a lot of this crap and made a really good album. He really could have, dude. This is, I don't know how many times I need to harp on like about it. He could have made a really good album, and unfortunately, he hasn't.
He didn't. Yeah, this is the thing. People will contest me on this and say, "What? No, Views is a great album." Now, I understand where they're coming from because they're you know, they're maybe not necessarily seeing it as the whole piece, or they're seeing it as from the nostalgia, or they're just picking out the songs that are bangers, right?
I agree. So, I think nostalgia has we underrate its sort of value in terms of how we, you know, emote to music, right?
For sure. Because I would say this is a great album, and I've kept saying a lot of it's from nostalgia as well, which is making me give it a chance.
Honest. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Now, you know, like if I play this for my dad, it's not like he's really going to connect with it, is he? even though there's some singing on there's some nice production on there and whatever, it's going to sound very different to him, right? He's not going to hear it the same way I am hearing it. You know,
and that's the beauty of music, right?
Yeah, but the thing is that what's happened is that because of I think some of the song selections on here, and because Drake was on this trajectory where he just had to keep putting out music that just at least hit in some way on the mainstream level and did numbers and stuff like that, he still became huge, like the Drake that we know now. Even though if we look back at it from an artistic point of view, I don't think he executed his kind of what he probably thought was his magnum opus, right? Because it's not, he didn't execute it properly. And yet it's like he accidentally still blew up and became mainstream. You'd think that there'd be a correlation, but there's not. You think there'd be a correlation between making a bad album and then him going downhill, as it does happen for some artists.
It's almost as if he's being placed and pushed there by the record label and media. It's almost as if this average Don is being pushed into the mainstream. Oh, how
there's
many times
definitely a part of that.
Listen,
there's definitely part of that, man.
Listen, he ain't got nothing behind the eyes. I'm not having it.
What's the? Isn't there a term for when it's not Mandela? No, Mandela effect. That's when you kind
remember
of everyone something that didn't
things.
Actually happen.
So yeah, people remember Nelson Mandela dying, for example. Whereas like, you know, I remember seeing him come out of jail.
Oh, right? I see. Okay, yeah. So it's like this collective kind of that didn't actually happen.
Yeah. So people, I remember in the US, like it first happened where loads of people were saying, "No, Nelson Mandela's dead." It's like no, like he came out and was alive, and so
it's really strange, right?
Why has that happened? And so you know, some people are saying, "Oh, maybe it's multiverse theory, or maybe like you know." Alternate realities, blah 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 blah. Maybe one's bled into the other. That'd be pretty cool if some.
That would be interesting.
Like that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
you know,
that would be cool. But
you know, maybe in another dimension, Drake is actually worth his salt and good.
And we're getting it mixed up.
Hopefully, send this Drake over there. Give me a good Drake, man. Like I'd listen to that. Give me a rapper. Give me a rapper.
With that, this is the thing, because I know that you know the way your memories work are not solid or concrete, right? It's not just something that gets stored in your head. It's actually your brain interprets something that happened in the past and tells you, yeah, this is what happened, right? And helps you make sense of it. It's not always actually very accurate, right? It's not just, you're not just seeing everything right now and it's just storing it as a constant live feed in the back of your head for you to go back and kind of view when you want to, right?
Like your brain, Black Mirror.
Yeah, right. Your brain is taking a cue from all these things that are happening right now around you, and it kind of stores those. And so then when you try and bring up a memory, I think this is how I heard it described one time. When you try and bring up the memory, it uses those cues to construct the memory for you. That's why you might think that someone was wearing a pink t-shirt and they can come to you and say, no, I was wearing blue that day. Like, look at the picture, right? And it's like, oh, I could have sworn you were wearing a different color, because your brain's just filling the gaps, right? So I can understand how a collective thing like that can happen with something like the Mandela effect, even though that's really strange when it happens, because sometimes you just think, why did I think that was the case? There's no trace of it. It's so strange. I'm trying to think of a term for when, what am I trying to say? So with Drake, he drops something. It doesn't matter how good or bad it is. And everyone will just when you what's the term for something when you like something because of just continuous exposure mixed in with kind of subliminally kind of being told that this is good?
That's just conditioning, isn't it?
Is conditioning felt too harsh a word? Like,
no, that's exactly what it is. But I know there is another word for it, a more
softer kind of term for it, right?
Yeah.
Like with music, it's like you hear it often enough, you just start to, you know, when people say like, oh, I just used to hear the song all the time and now I just really like it.
Now I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
I think that happens with Drake on a really big scale. Now it could be the case that his music is still good. It's just that everyone's exposed to it. At the same time, that also means that when he drops bad music, everyone plays
still
it,
loves it, and still licks his bum.
This is the thing. And it's not just the consumer. We're talking about people like the radio DJs, We're talking about, you know, and we know that people get played on radios. Labels go and actually pay DJs. You know, we've heard about this stuff about, you know, and some DJs have to come out and defend it and say, no, this doesn't happen anymore. We've had sweeps and stuff, and, you know, but they're acknowledging that it used to happen at least, right? Labels coming in and paying more money saying, you know, we want this song in rotation. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And then it gets played no matter what.
Yeah.
Pretty sure when I hear certain songs, I'm like, how is that big? How is that getting played so much?
It's
and then
disgusting.
Yeah.
It's not that it's good.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. And then you wonder. The problem is though, it then the more it happens, it starts to blur the line, because then you can't pinpoint why, if someone likes this song, do you actually like it, or have you been conditioned to? Because someone might genuinely have liked it from the moment it dropped, you know, but you can't almost tell anymore because it's just happening so often. With someone like Drake, it's like, I feel that this is the problem. I think this is what happens with views, is that if we were purely looking at it artistically, people would have been like, bruv, you didn't execute that right. Or what are these, what's toying with it like Happy Meal? You're a grown man. How are you saying that and thinking, and not leaving that just as a joke with your boys, right? My mates make jokey bars all the time, right? But if some of us, when we put those into like our songs that we make, we'll be like, don't know about that. You know, maybe just change that bar. Like, you know, even, you know, one of my mates themselves, they'll do that and they'll say, no, let's just change that. I just did that for fun. Right. But who's in there saying, yeah, I get green like Earth Day? That's a great lyric, Drake.
It's disgusting. Like, there are so many duds though, where I'm like, no.
That's what I mean. And like, if people just said Drake's a cool rapper, he makes some good bangers every now and then, he makes some good songs, cool.
Stop
whatever.
singing. Yeah, stop singing.
Whatever, you know? But if you're going to start putting him up as this supreme lyricist, it's not backed up.
We're in the upside down. If Drake is considered a supreme lyricist, then it's by people that don't understand A, what hip hop is, and B, what actual supreme lyricists look like.
I think that's what it is. I think a lot of these people haven't, and I'm not to sound elitist or like I'm gatekeeping. I'm not.
Yeah.
But because that's what they'll do. They'll be like, you're an old head. No, again, this is just black and white thinking. No, it's not true. What it sounds like, it's like people who say Eminem's the best rapper of all time. A lot of the times, you know, he happens to be someone who actually deserves to be in that conversation. But a lot of the people, easy. But a lot of the people saying that
don't necessarily know
they don't listen to it. They actually don't know why.
Well,
people at my school didn't know why they were saying Eminem was the best of all time, because they didn't listen to any other hip hop. They were just saying it.
But that's exactly the zeitgeist. But the thing is, like, I don't think that you even need to limit the sort of gatekeeping just to hip hop. Like, being an amazing lyricist is just across the board.
Across the board, yeah. No, you're right.
You know, Jason K from, you know, Jamiroquai, like, Virtual Insanity, listen to them words, released in 96. More relevant now than they've ever been. What are you talking about? That's great lyricism right there. I've mentioned Chris Cornell, Kate Bush, mad as hell. Some gems in there. Fleetwood Mac, flipping Bob Dylan, if that's your thing.
Yeah.
You know, not for me. I can't take his voice.
But lyrically, he's like a lyrically sound guy, though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's an absolute poet. Like Subterranean Homesick Blues. Just listen to that. Like, wow, it's really cool. But yeah, you don't need to. It doesn't need to be within the realm of hip hop. You can be a great lyricist. It just happens to shine more in hip hop because that's where the focus really is. Like, how good are you as a wordsmith, right?
For sure. Yeah.
Drake don't even break the top 100.
Yeah, that's the thing. He has quotables. That's great. Fine. Dude. That's really nice. But you know, he's mainstream. Great. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. His mainstream doesn't make it good.
Doesn't make it good. Yeah, you're right. Because you know, I see these conversations on Twitter a lot. Like, people always think that Kendrick will body Drake, and I'm like, well, I think he will. You know, because Drake hasn't shown that Drake has shown that he could step into that arena if he wanted to. When he replied to Pusha T, it was really good. I was really surprised. He caps off his albums with these songs like Views, Pound Cake, and 6 p.m. in New York. But like I always say, you can't pick 3 songs off a 20-song album and say it's a good album. If the rest is trash, and not saying that this for me is a solid album for me, if I ignore all the other things I just said, but
I can't ignore it, and this is why I'm going to score it. What I'm going to score it, and
I can't wait to hear that.
That was a sick little rhyme as well. Yeah, you're not the only one with quotables, bro.
But yeah, Drake's no, exactly. This is the thing. A lot of people can do quotables, right?
Exactly. But I'm nothing special. I'm an average Don. So is Drake. Don't even fight me on it.
Based on what you said in the last episode when we were talking about actors, Drake is an actor. That's how he started.
Yeah, man. We talked about
it, right? Now that may play into what you were saying last time, right? About being able to put it on like very easily. I enjoy his music. I like the songs that he released recently. Those 3 new ones, right? But I'm treating Drake now as like I'm less invested in him as I was when I was at uni. Now it's just, if you give me some good tunes that I can play, cool. I'm not hanging on to your every lyric because I don't care about your personal life anymore. I'm beyond that. And I just want some good tunes, man. Just give me some good tunes. I don't want just 2 out of 10 on your next album. Do you know what I mean? I want a full body of work because I know you have it in you. I see little glimpses of it. I see that you tried with this album to do that. I see that you even had the mindset of going in with a side B and side A on Scorpion. You just didn't do it very well. That's the problem. And even then you mixed it up. Why the fuck were some of those songs on side A when they should have been on side B? Like, I just don't get it. And then people will say, oh, you're overthinking it. No, this is coming from Drake. Drake's the one who explained the concept and didn't execute it. So it's not me. Drake's the one here saying this shit. Drake's the one saying, I want to make this album that really sets me over the edge and does this and does that. Okay. I'm not looking a little pump for like, this great mainstream magnum opus because he's never said he's going to make one. Drake has. He's the one saying this shit. He wants to be as big as MJ.
Vacuous. There is nothing there. There is nothing there. Dude, you're going to be forever disappointed. He's got ability. He will never deliver. I'm telling you.
For me now, if his next album disappoints me, then he's going to he's slowly becoming one of those artists where when he drops an album, I'll give it a skim through, look for the features, look for the songs that sound good, put those in the playlist. That's it.
Go one step further. Join the dark side.
Well, just don't download it just so I can put it in the trash.
Download it so you can put it in the recycle bin. Definitely.
Yeah.
And you can just keep it there, just unlistened and unloved. Because let's have it right. He's a mollycoddled like little guy. Listen, I'm done talking about Drake. I really am.
No, fair enough, man.
I've had enough.
I don't know what else I can really say.
Nothing. Because that's what Drake should say. Scores right. Top 5. I'm going to do my top 5. I'm not doing it. So, top 5. I'm doing a top 3.
Go ahead, man. I already know what they are, I think.
Yeah, man. Top 3. 2 good views and what was the other one that I liked?
You with me?
There you go. Whatever. We'll have that. I can't remember it. And yeah,
all right, give this the 2 out of 10 it deserves. Go on.
This is 3.5 out of 10.
Ah, it's close. That was close.
Yeah. This is 3.5 out of 10.
Okay.
It's quite late now, and I'm quite tired, and so I'll just say,
Same.
Fuck this album.
I'm starving. Yeah.
Like screw this
album.
album.
So much more brutal than I expected it to be. Like even from my end, I'm even a bit kind of shocked. But it all came out. It all really came out.
So I think your frustration is that you've seen him. So I think I can understand it, right? Like I can see where your disappointment lies. Like you've seen the very, very best of him, like when he was hungry, I guess, and when he started to get featured and started to get really big. Then with the album, nothing was the same.
That's like one of my favorites of his. Like
it's the best. I've listened to 3 or 4 albums, I think, of Drake, and it's the best one by a country mile. There are still songs on there where I'm like, I think the album's got pacing issues as well. I think that as a body of work, it's okay, but then to end on Pound Cake, like good God Almighty, like flipping, that is a brilliant like tune.
For sure.
He alludes to different things as well. And for one of his early albums, I was thinking, well, he's got time to elaborate. But having heard through this podcast like the other material and revisiting Views and stuff, there's a reason that I left Views in 2016. It's Teflon. It doesn't stick. None of it means anything, dude. Like it doesn't. Like, to me, I don't have the nostalgia thing. It wasn't in the zeitgeist. I actively avoided Drake because I'd hear it on the radio and I'd be like, well, if it's on the radio and I don't like it, why am I going to invest any more time? Like, I'd give it a chance while I'm listening to it.
For sure.
If I don't like it, then I'm not wasting any time on it. You joking? I'm going to go and listen to Prime, or I'm going to go and listen to, you know what I mean? Like, Skin Dread released an album. I'll listen to that. Like,
sure.
I'm not in the business of wasting time. So I was really like, you know how I feel about Drake already. And I'm so glad that you've joined me on the hatred train. It's great.
I'm not on the hatred train.
No, I know, but it's good that I've opened the door.
No,
I am.
Even if I'm
he's an
disappointed.
average Don. Drake, honestly, I stand by what I said. He's everything wrong with modern music. He genuinely is, and that's how I feel.
Fair enough.
Because it's soulless, and that is what his music ultimately is.
That's the weird thing, is that I can kind of see that, like even when I saw him live, it was great, but I can't tell if that's because of just the songs are great live. If that makes sense. And there was this little, and there was this little bit in the middle where he started like singing, like really like, he's like standing there with his mic on a stand and he's like fully going for it. And I remember even hearing someone say, who's like probably a bigger Drake fan than I am, they were like, yeah, that part was so boring. Like it's just not his ballpark. Like, he was like, it's almost like he's really trying to get kind of, it feels a bit sad, but it was almost like that's his only opportunity to really show like, oh, I kind of do this as well. And the label won't let me release songs like this, or something like that. So it's like he does it when he's live on stage, like, oh, I'm just going to show them that I've got this singing thing.
I'm going to get my Frank Ocean on. No, leave it to Frank Ocean. Like, he's got a much better voice than you.
Frank Ocean will wash Drake when it comes to singing. Yeah,
wonderful voice, Frank Ocean.
Yeah, I'm okay with Drake's voice when he sings, for certain things, because again, might be the nostalgia, might be if he's over the right beats. I do get it when he does that nasally, lazy kind of thing. How
it sounds like a cat being drowned in a bag set on fire. Like, no.
It took me a while to kind of get with that, but again, it's the overexposure thing. Now that I'm just been so exposed to it over time. Remember, like my friendship circles and stuff like that through uni and beyond. A lot of my generation are heavy on Drake, and he's a big part of our lives, right? And this is another thing, is that we need to stop getting at people who grew up in the 90s and say, well, you guys gave R. Kelly a pass. You guys are doing my generation's doing something similar with Drake by letting him slide with certain suspect shit that he says and does. And then all that we're adding on to it now is saying, I hope he's not a pedo, or I hope he's not this, just so that we can retain our nostalgic memories and not feel that they've been tainted. Because you couldn't, at my age, you can't escape Drake. You couldn't escape him at uni. Now, luckily, I grew up at a time in uni where Drake was in that sweet spot for me, where he was rising, he was still hungry, right? And then, so we got to see that explosion where he went into the mainstream. We rooted for it.
Yeah.
Now it's like, but then Views was the part where it got a bit shaky for me, where it was like, I don't know, man. But then he still got the mainstream success. So it's kind of like it's like being handed the reward.
Yeah.
But you didn't actually execute it properly enough. You didn't execute what you wanted, but everyone gave you all the treats and stuff still. Like, oh, well done though.
Because
everything's great.
Yeah,
well
he's
done.
a yes man. He doesn't have. I don't think he's got artistic integrity.
I sometimes, I question that more and more now. Back then, I would have debated you more heavily on it, but now I'm
in the cold light of day, like I'm not right. Like genuinely, it's not. Maybe it's not about being right or wrong. Like I feel very steadfast in my conviction. This dude he's not a dude that I root for, and I would root for anybody like that. Listen, I knew who Benny the Butcher was, and then you said, "Oh, listen to Griselda." I'm now firmly on the Griselda train, right? Because I root for them as people, as like their whole dynamic. Like I root for them individually and as a collective, right? So I know what I'm listening to, and I know when I hear whatever that je ne sais quoi is, whether it's soul or intent or passion, I do not get. It's just clinical doctor surgery music that I get from Drake. Like it's just very clinical. The color I always get from him is like either grey or white, like a hospital
That's how
room.
I feel now. Yeah,
and
that's how I feel now.
And that's how I've always felt. Like I apart from when I was listening to Nothing Was the Same, I got like a couple of nice little morning sort of golden hues and stuff like that. Like I got nice, nice warm feelings when I listened to that. But dude, like no, like let's just put a cork in it there, man. Like because I don't want to talk about this.
Don't worry. There's no more Drake on this. Like
good.
This was I wondered like, I wonder if this will be perceived differently, because this does feel like a differently made album to the one I gave you before. But it's kind of brought something out of me now when I'm critiquing it as well. And the thing is, for me, a lot of the time, it's the bigger conversation around Drake. It's the human elements that piss me off, man. Like the celebrity worship and the letting, don't get at people for letting R. Kelly slide, but then you let Drake slide. Don't let, keep the same energy for the rich white man who chastises his, trophy from the ghetto for being too ghetto and acting this way and acting that way and all this sort of shit.
They give him the pass for doing
Drake did the same thing on Child's Play. He's literally that rich old white man that you would be like, oh man, so trash, so toxic. That's Drake.
Oh, dude. Like now, genuinely, I'm on the hate train. Like after hearing that and listening to like your little breakdown, I'm on the hate train. Yeah, man, 3.5 out of 10. You know what? It's a 3 out of 10. Fuck it. Fuck Drake.
Fuck it.
Yeah, no, fuck him. Like genuinely.
Wow, that was a super interesting conversation, man.
It was actually really good. Like, thanks for sharing that with me. That was, I'll never listen. I'll genuinely, if the only time I'll ever listen to Drake again is if you give it to me on a flipping podcast, which I'm really hoping you won't anymore. No. So Chris introduced me to this hip hop group. And the album I'm going to give to you is Whatever Happens, Happens by 101.
Okay. I think you mentioned 101 before.
I've mentioned them before, yeah. My mate Chris, friend of the show, we always talk music, and he said, oh, check these guys out. Be careful, because I found a band. I found like a few bands called 101, right? One was a Spanish metal band. Yeah.
Okay.
Called 101. I didn't understand any of the lyrics, but some of the music was sick. Anyway.
Okay. So
they're a hip-hop trio.
Happens.
Yeah.
It's got a blue album cover. Yeah, this looks like a hip-hop album. Okay, I'll add that. Cool.
Yeah, it's like purple.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested actually looking at that.
Yeah, I recommend it. It's
Oh, it's got Dwele on here as well.
Yeah, man. Dwele. I have a soft spot for that guy, man. Like,
for sure, man.
I listened to his album. I can't remember what album it was, but I listened to it the other day, and I was just like, oh man, it brings me back to like 2008. Like,
I've never listened to a whole album of his.
It does wear, but some of them are just brilliant songs, like on their own. I don't think he's got like necessarily the best voice, but there's something about him.
There's something about him, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of got that, like, he's like music soul child. A lot.
Yeah, I knew you were going to bring him up.
Yeah, music soul child is one of those guys that you just sort of, you listen, when you hear him, you're like, yeah, I'm in, like, that grabs your attention. And I find that Dwele has that as well, even though his voice is a lot softer. It's just, he's got something. Anyway.
For sure, for sure.
I'm going to leave it there, because
sick, man.
It's been about 2.5 hours.
Wow. But, I think we got through some important shit on that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. And I don't know why. Why has fucking Drake been so heavy, like, on my mind recently? I think, do you know what it is? It's all the stuff surrounding him. It's the principled nature of, like, what I just mentioned before. It's those kind of things that are bothering me about people in general. When there's like blind worship of people
Agreed.
and just giving certain people a pass, not others, because of certain things, which shows that we value certain things in our society, but not others. And we'll turn
Agreed.
a blind eye to these people. When you really break it down, you deep it, you think, this guy makes songs. Like, yes, art is really important, but
yeah, but morality is also very important.
Yeah, why are you giving him the pass for something you would trash someone else for? You know, things like that. So it's not always just about Drake. It's, for me, I think it's been weighing on me. It's the principle of these kind of things. And Drake happens to unfortunately embody some of that. Not even Drake, but just like the people who around him, the DJs, the mainstream media and all that sort of stuff, you know?
Yeah. Honestly,
The
how many
industry,
times am I
basically.
saying it? You know, I've said it many times throughout this pod, right? Genuinely, I do not waver in my assessment of Drake and what he is. He is just a puppet that's just wheeled out. Dude, honestly, I don't.
No, I feel you, man. I feel you. But it's going to sound weird, but I would actually suggest to people listening, check the album out. You know, it has some redeeming qualities in my.
It definitely does, and that makes it even.
For me, I do like this album, so listen to it. Yeah, but you know, if you just want an enjoyable experience, depending on what music you're into,
then stick a needle in your eye.
Yeah, or alternatively, give this album a try. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you do, you do. I mean, but you could do that for any album we talk about on here. But this one, I don't want it to come off. You know, if you get to the end of this, that you know, it's just trash. I know David would say it is, but for me, I would recommend this to people. Maybe the casual kind of music hip hop fan.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Not some grizzled, like, you know, I think that a lot of my anger is stemming towards like the fact that, you know, DMX for me representing the real sort of artist and hip hop and the beauty of poetry and honesty and making himself vulnerable. I think that because he's obviously like been on everybody's minds recently, I think that when you stand, unfortunately Drake got it this week, like when you stand Drake up next to, you know, somebody else who's in my brain, Drake doesn't even come close, right?
I can understand. It's almost like night and day, right?
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. I feel like we'll get to it on, you know, we'll get to it at some stage, but
sure, yeah.
I think that's why I've been so sort of scathing as well on Drake as a human being, and as a lyricist, as an artist and stuff. I really think that that's been playing on my mind. So maybe I'm being a little like unabashed, I guess, in my assessment of the album and stuff. But that's just me. Hey, dude, look, it's just me.
Exactly. Yeah, we're not robots doing this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
People. So
exactly. So it's just me. If you like it, by all means, like give it a listen, give it a whirl. You'll find stuff to, you know, that you'll like. I just don't. It's because I don't know. Anyway, right, I'm going to wrap it up before I...
No, I'm joking.
It's only because I know what music is. But anyway,
okay.
What a twat. Only twats say stuff like that. Sorry. Yeah, man. Cool. Right. This is, we've been off the rails. Listen, if you're still with us, this has been a really, really, really long podcast. It's been actually really good to discuss in detail Drake. I don't know why he calls himself Drizzy on Twitter. It's another thing. He should be called Drizzle because his music is like light rain, inconsequential, just nothing. And also the other day I watched Blade, and it was on TV, and Wesley Snipes said to Deacon Frost, his mortal enemy, he said, "You mean nothing to me." And that is how I feel about Drake. So thank you very much, everybody. We've been a KaeDee Exchange podcast. If you're still with us, blessings to you. We will catch you really, really soon. We'll be live at 8:00 on Thursday, where on Stereo, where we will be discussing something. We'll let you know in the socials tomorrow.
Yeah, we won't know.
And then tomorrow, yeah, we'll drop last week's episode. So thank you very much, everybody. It's been a pleasure, and we will see y'all next time when we do 101's album. Whatever happens, happens. All right.
Sick.
Safe. Right.
Peace.
Peace.